Arkham series is just one of those game series which has changed the gaming landscape forever. So many games have tried and either failed or succeeded in a way on matching its format and gameplay, but basically becoming the blueprint of many games. Some building off of it, or some just blatantly ripping it off. The series that made you feel like the Batman. It's not only important to the gaming industry, but it's also important to me. I remember when I first got my PlayStation 3, when the only game I had was Assassin's Creed 1, when, you know, there was only one Assassin's Creed game. My dad went on the PlayStation Network store, or whatever the fuck it was called back in the day, and downloaded a bunch of demos. Some being the Alone in the Dark remake, which I have weirdly fond memories of. Mini Ninjas that I don't think I ever, actually played. I just remember it being installed on the game and I would pass it every now and then. And then Batman Arkham Asylum. To be honest, when I was a kid, I remember thinking that it was a horror game because of the atmosphere, and since I know nothing about Batman, I was always scared to go around the corner. Hell, I was scared to play the BioShock demo. I was kind of a pussy. But the second I played it, I fell in love. I played that demo maybe 1,000 times, to the point where I recognized where it was chopped up from the full release when I finally bought it. I played that demo for years, and I saved up my allowance to buy it used at GameStop. Whoa. When I did, I also picked up Arkham City used. Don't think I splurged on myself, which was the sequel I was also dying to play, even though I only played the demo of Arkham Asylum. Since then, I've played and beaten the games in the series multiple times, and it is still dear to my heart. I thought I'd do a little personal retrospective on it, as it is a series very interesting to me and very touching to me, as it was really only 4 mainline games, yet it is so integral to a lot of people's gaming experience growing up. There's also the Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight coming out either next week, today, or it already came out. I don't know. I'm a little late to filming this, and I thought this would be a perfect time for a Batman Arkham retrospective because I've been meaning to do it. You might be wondering, why did I not do a Lego Batman retrospective? And to that I say, shut the fuck up, this is my channel. Some rules though. I will be playing all of these games on PC. If the game is not on PC, I won't be playing it because it is not quote-unquote mainline. I'm looking at you mobile ports that can't even be downloaded anymore. Also, just putting this here in case I don't get to it, I probably didn't play the VR games. There are 2 VR games, didn't play them. I played a little bit, so I might touch on them. I might touch them a little bit. I'm gonna molest them, but will I go into detail? I don't fucking know. Also, obvious spoilers. I will be going through each of these games along with its story, so if you plan on playing it, bro, do it already. So anyways, let's just jump into the Batman Arkham retrospective. This game is basically imprinted into my childhood from that 10 to 30 minute demo. This was the piece of media that got me into the Batman world and mythos. He has now basically became my favorite superhero, and that is no in part from this game. This game made you feel like the Batman. Get ready to hear that over and over again. The gameplay is amazing. The atmosphere is immaculate. It felt like a game I always wanted to play when I first tried it. Anyways, enough jerking this game off. What makes it so good? The gameplay is really what makes this game stand out from the rest of the crowd. This game feels amazing to play, and is no wonder why this game set the precedent of action games to come. So the combat is really simple. Click to punch, right click to counter, that's it. Or if you're playing on a console, square to punch, triangle to counter. Or the same how it would be on Xbox if you play this game on Xbox. Like a fucking dumbass. I know a lot of people tend to complain that you can just spam click to win, and yeah, to be fair, you can. But there is just a tiny bit of nuance to it where you have to look at another henchman to go to them. You can't counter if you're in animation. You can't hit them when they fall over, which you will do a lot, and you'll kind of cause you to hit nothing and break your combo. A lot of it can be chopped down to, the limitations of the game, but you can learn around it and basically, work against it. I will say, however, the upgrades in this game is the most simple and bare bones upgrades you can get in the entire series. It can either be something super essential like the inverted takedown or something as useless as the remote battering. I know the remote battering becomes important later on in the series, but in this game it is utterly useless and I don't know what the fuck the point of it is. Also, the combat takedowns are a little weak in this game, but to be honest, you can go a full run with no upgrades and you will probably be fine. There are a few enemy types. There are the normal ones, the titans, stun baton enemies where you have to double tap the evade button to get behind them, blade enemies which you can dodge backwards for blade dodges, and the lunatics that you have to like counter and then ground take down them. Like, there's a good mix of enemies to mix things up and not make the game too repetitive, but it could be better. There's also gadgets you can use because you're Batman. It's mainly used for puzzles like your sequencer, explosive gel, and of course, the batarang, each having their moment to shine and being pretty basic versions of what we would later see in the series. Where we have combat, we also have stealth, which is another part where this game shines with its predator sections. This game will literally make you feel like the shadows as you swing around and silently take down enemies in the room. You're also equipped with this predator vision called detective mode, which shows you where the enemies are around you, whether they have weapons or not. And to be honest, I will say the predator sections are rather easy. Easier than the combat, I dare say. They do try to make it a little harder by introducing heartbeat sensors that will go off if you take out a guy halfway through the game, but to me at least, it doesn't really pose a challenge by then. It kind of just puts the other enemies on edge and eliminates the ability to clear the room without your presence being known, which, like, when they're on edge, they do look around more frantically, or they'll pair off into duos back to back, causing it to be a little bit harder to take them out without being seen. It is fun to plan out a strategy to clear out a predator section. And of course, there is gliding in this game, but to be honest, it really isn't utilized in this game as you are mainly running from section to section. But there are times where you must glide, and it works. If only the area was like more open. Perhaps if it was in a city. There's so much to love with how this game feels, and to be honest, nothing feels better to clear the room loudly or in the shadows as the Batman. The plot is honestly really solid and makes it perfect for any hardcore Batman fans or a newcomer like my former younger self. So you play as the Batman. Who would've fucking thought? As he just captured the Joker, baby.
I'm the Joker, baby!
And brings him to Arkham Asylum. Batman comments to Gordon that something doesn't feel right, as he was too easy to catch this time. And then suddenly, the Joker baby escapes and states that he set a trap and you sprung it gloriously. With the help of Harley Quinn, inmates across the asylum are set free, including the Joker's baby's men. That was a lot of S's. Who were transferred from Blackgate prison after a quote-unquote mysterious fire, and members of Batman's rogue gallery. After taking out Victor Zsasz with a single glide kick, good job Zsasz, Harley reveals that she kidnapped Quincy Sharp, the warden of the asylum. Batman makes his way to the Joker baby, where he reveals a henchman who has been injected with Titan, a special drug that turns the user into a giant, beautiful I may say, monster. Batman defeats him by kind of just running around until he has a heart attack, and the Joker baby reveals that Gordon has been kidnapped by Officer Balls.
Officer Balls.
Batman finds Officer Balls dead after the Joker baby realizes he was using him to locate Gordon. Also, Riddler Skype calls you. Batman heads to the medical facility to find Gordon, where the Joker baby has taken some doctors hostage, including Dr. Young, which they showed a very particular interest in. Batman saves the doctors and officers who were taken hostage, including Aaron Cash, who He's in like all the games. I just thought I would mention him because I haven't really mentioned him yet. Who then escorts Dr. Young back to Arkham Mansion so she can take a look at her research notes as Batman goes into the lower level where he encounters Scarecrow for the first time. He sees hallucinations like his dead parents blaming him for their deaths. Pretty common stuff, I would say. Before he is able to shake off the effects. Batman makes his way to Gordon and rescues him from Harley. Upon doing so, it is revealed that Bane was in the room the whole time where his venom was being drained. It is revealed that Dr. Young was using Bane as, quote, patient X, unquote, for her test for the Titan project she was running for the Joker baby. The Joker baby then pumps the Titan into Bane, where Batman then fights and defeats them by hitting him with a car. Batman takes Gordon to the docks where he is able to leave safely from the island. After a short trip to the mini Bat Cave located on the island for some reason, Batman makes his way to find Dr. Young in Arkham Mansion. Batman then confronts her about the Titan project and how she worked with the Joker baby, but she is then killed by said the Joker baby. Batman realizes that the Joker baby has perfected the Titan serum after defeating Harley Quinn and now has to find a cure which leads them to Killer Croc's lair. Upon arriving, Scarecrow confronts Batman again before getting swept away by Croc himself. Once in the lair, he has to collect spores, while Croc tries to charge at and eat Batman. In the end, Batman traps him in the explosive gel trap, and then Batman heads to the Botanical Gardens as that's where Ivy waits for him. Ivy states that the Titan has made her plants stronger and tries to kill Batman before getting swiftly defeated. Batman then heads over to the visitor center where the Joker baby's big party is about to begin. After getting a nice big welcome party, the Joker baby surprises Batman by injecting himself with the Titan, causing him to mutate into a giant monster. A short fight later, the Joker baby is defeated and taken into custody along with all of his henchmen. Once all seems done, Gordon's radio pings that Two-Face is robbing a bank over in Gotham as Batman rides away to stop him as a hero's work is never done. Might I say, this is a very solid story for the Batman. Have him locked away on an island with some of his greatest foes? You can't really go wrong with that. The only real complaint I have is that there weren't more. But with how packed this game was, I'm surprised how well it all fit. First off, the Scarecrow sections are the best part of the game. The boss fights themselves, but I'm more talking about the effects of the fear gas firsthand. Bruce seeing his parents berate him for not saving him, the hallway corridor, the whole section where the game pretends to break only to then replay the beginning, but with the roles reversed. Honestly, it is so fucking cool and creative and the most fun parts of the game. Anyways, what about the rest of the game? How does that fare? Well, like I said, it's a very solid story that pairs well with the atmosphere and setting itself. Like I said, you are the Batman locked away on some island with some of his rogue gallery. It practically writes itself. I think each section of the game flowed into the next pretty well. It is a very linear game compared to the other ones that we will get to. Yeah, the island is technically openly explorable, but the story only goes one way. The only time you would have to backtrack is if the story tells you to, or if you're going for the Riddler trophies, which you don't have to. It's not that important. Do I think it's the best story in the series? I don't know, probably not, but it is a very great introduction to this world and these characters if you've never played them before, or a good introduction to these version of these characters if you are a hardcore fan. Now this section will go deeper in future games, but for now, there really is no side content other than, you guessed it, Riddler trophy. There are 240 trophies, riddles, Joker teeth, and tapes scattered across the island which unlock challenge maps, character trophies, and concept art. While it's not required to collect them all, if you want the 100%, it is there, which I did. There are very few games I will actively go and try to fully 100% both in-game and achievements, and this is one of those games. But other than the self-pride that you get and a small list of challenge maps, there really isn't much for completing them unless you really like the character trophies and concept art, which it's always good to see some behind the scenes stuff. When you collect all the Riddler stuff, you also get a short like audio message of the Riddler getting arrested. So yeah, I mean there's that, I guess. So other than the Riddler stuff, there really is no side content. This game is pretty straightforward, and I will commend it for being the only one in the series to really do that. Now this is something I never really dove into in these retrospective videos, but to be fair, Mafia doesn't really have any boss fights. It really is just kind of a shoot this guy with a slightly bigger challenge than usual. Assassin's Creed is just assassinate targets, and Life is Strange is go be gay. So like there really isn't a lot of boss fights with these retrospective videos, but I thought I'd give this portion of the game its own section in this retrospective because of how integral it is to the identity of this series. Each game has its memorable stories, settings, but also boss fights, and this is no exception, for better or for worse. So let's go down the list in order and rate them individually, and then talk about the boss fights in this game as a whole. Victor Zsasz, 1 out of 10. Yeah, kick him. Titan Henchman has a heart attack, 1 out of 10. Scarecrow, his sections are fucking amazing, but his boss fights are fine. They introduce a fixed camera angle as you do some platforming, which the camera angles really fuck with you at times. There are 3 of these sections in this game, and they progressively get harder, but nothing like too major. But A+ for creativity though. 7 out of 10. That's not really an A+, but you know, go fuck yourself is my video. Bane plays like a slightly stronger Titan henchman with a health bar. 5 out of 10. Harley Quinn, you fight a couple of waves of henchmen while trying not to get electrocuted by the floor every now and then. You also beat her in a cutscene, but the floor is a very nice touch, I guess. So 4 out of 10. 2 Titan henchmen. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. 2 out of 10. Victor Zsasz, again. You hit him with a batarang. 0 out of 10. Killer Croc. He runs at you, but goes down with 1 batarang. Honestly, the suspense of when he'll pop up is great, and I will admit, I will jump every now and then when he comes up, and I'll shit bricks when he's running at me. But like, 1 batarang, and bro needs a break. I don't know. 4 out of 10 for fear factor alone. Titan Henchman in the sewers. This one is just a lot of guys and a Titan henchman, so 2 out of 10. Poison Ivy. Actually kind of cool, but it does get repetitive fast. Basically, she controls some guys to fight you, and you have to avoid her plants. Eventually, she'll start shooting plant bombs at you, because I guess plants can do that. I don't fucking know, but this is definitely one of the better boss fights in the game. 7 out of 10. 2 Titan Guards. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 out of 10. Titan Joker. The Joker baby swings at you for a little bit before getting tired, and then sends some guys after you. After you beat them, you have to use the back claw and drag him down to land some punches. To be honest, the boss fight isn't terrible, but for being the finale of a pretty great game, it kinda undelivers a bit. Like, this is what the story was building up to. A Titan Joker that doesn't even have the energy to fight me himself. Like, at least make him fight a little differently from the other Titans, or have us fight through important sections of the island or something. I don't fucking know. Just kind of feels like a very missed opportunity. 5 out of 10. So, based on those ratings, you might be a little confused. Here, let me break it down for you. Okay, so now let me explain. The game is great. The boss fights need work. Like, they are fine for what they are, but they are definitely the weak points of the game. My favorite was probably Scarecrow, because it actually did something different rather than fight some henchmen, but with a twist. Which one Scarecrow boss fight even did that at one point. It for sure needs some work done, but they accomplished what they needed to be, I guess, in the story? I don't know. Look, the setting is where the game absolutely shines. It is so thick in atmosphere to the point where the Asylum is a character of its own. The art direction of this game should also be appreciated because holy hell. Everything from the lighting, the set design, the character designs, it's perfect. It's to the point where I can safely say that this is the best game in the series based on art design and atmosphere alone. There are also just so much secrets and Easter eggs around for players to find, mostly being riddle solutions. But even if you aren't doing all the Riddler stuff, it's just a nice little treat for longtime Batman fans. Now here's a little section of hints for the next game. In the Arkham Mansion, in Quincy's office, there is a destructible wall that doesn't appear in detective mode. Upon destroying it, reveals a portion of Gotham City section off, teasing at maybe an Arkham City, anyone? That's it. That's the only thing. Anyways, I definitely get the vibe that they were going for with the whole open island, but to be honest, if this game was strictly linear, I think it would have served the game a little better. If not, add some actual side content besides the Riddler stuff. Because when you're done with a section of the island, you kind of just leave with it still kind of being accessible if you want to go there to collect Riddler's trophies. But again, you don't, it's kind of just there if you're not doing the Riddler trophies. Like, you can go back, it's there. But why? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but the setting is beautiful and definitely the best atmosphere in the entire series, hands down. Lastly, I want to dive into the characters. Usually in these retrospectives, I talk about the main protagonists as they are usually different in a lot of the games I cover in these retrospectives. However, in this series, you are Batman. So I thought I'd talk about the selection of characters in these games, as each kind of feature different key characters and how they contribute to the game and overall story. Let's start with the Batman himself. He doesn't really emote much as he is Batman, and therefore, not to his fault, is very flat character-wise. Joker even points out his hero speak, if you will. I would say this game might be the most emotionless Batman in the series, but he really literally is just Batman in this game. The most emotion you get is him trying to call Barbara, although there really isn't a lot of character moments for Batman in this game. He is still voiced by the late and forever goated Kevin Conroy. So no matter what, you're gonna get an amazing performance through and through. Kevin Conroy is the Batman. Rest in peace. Joker as the main villain just works. I mean, it's Batman versus Joker. It's as classic as it can be. And of course, he's being voiced by the legendary Mark Hamill, who, just like Kevin Conroy, is the Joker. In fact, many people from the original animated series return to voice their respective characters in this game. I'd say that the other characters in this game are a really good selection. I mean, you got classics like Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, and Scarecrow. It's a joy to see them here and are instantly recognizable with their character designs, and I think are just actually amazing in this game, if not perfect. Except maybe Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, who are kind of very sexualized in this game, but I mean, it was 2009, so what do you really expect? Every girl is just eye candy, I guess. I mean, that was just what the times were at the time. It's not good. It's really weird, to be honest. But it's 2009, boobs, I guess. I think every character had a moment to shine and contributed to the story really well. The standout obviously being the Joker, but each character was really good in this game. Look, this game is very nostalgic for me, but even with my nostalgia goggles on, I can see its faults, though very few. I know each game builds off of this game, so returning to it can be a little weird to see how, I guess, bare bones it really was, but for its time, this was groundbreaking. But hell, this still holds up till this day. This is a game I find myself returning to frequently as years pass. Funny enough, when I was a kid and I bought both this and Arkham City as a kid, I got so excited to play Arkham City that I only got to where the Riddler calls you for the first time, and then I was like, yeah, I think I played enough, and then I switched to City. I would then beat City a couple of times, and I actually didn't beat Arkham Asylum until the Return to Arkham Collection game came out on the PlayStation 4, so I technically own 3 versions of this game. One on the PS3, one on the PS4, and one on PC. Look, I'm gonna give this game an 8 out of 10. The atmosphere is on point, the characters are great, and the gameplay, although dated in the sense that the newer games added so much, it still holds up. Only real reason I give it an 8 instead of a very strong 9 that I feel like it deserves is that the upgrades are just very useless, and to be honest, the boss fights, while fine, need to be touched up. I love this game dearly, but I have to be honest with myself, it's not a perfect game, although I tell myself it's a perfect game. But look, it is time to move on to the next game in the series. This game is often a hot contender for the best in the series, rivaling only by its predecessor, and there's a really good reason for that. This game, by all means, is a massive step up from Asylum. Better gameplay, bigger story, an open city to explore, Arkham City to be exact. They really took everything that worked in Asylum and then just added on top of it what every sequel should be. It really makes you feel like the Batman. It ties directly to the previous game, as well as introducing a whole new catalog of villains to this world. So without further ado, let's dive bomb right into this game. The gameplay is a massive upgrade from Asylum. First off, the fighting feels a lot smoother. I love Asylum's combat, but there will be times where I 1000% swore I countered or hit and the game said, nah. This game feels a lot smoother with its combat, and get this, the upgrades are actually kind of useful. It introduces more combat upgrades as well as gadget upgrades, which are all neatly separated and organized. You actually get a few new gadgets in this game, like the electrical charge, the freeze blast, and a welcome new addition for the Predator missions, the smoke pellet. This game also introduces the grapple boost, but you have to complete all the AR challenges side quests to unlock it, which is annoying as that should really just be included, but unlocked further in the story if you wanted to tie it to an upgrade, a lot like the new gadgets we got in this game. Going back to the Predator sections, the inverted takedown is now just included in your base moveset and don't have to be unlocked. There's also more of a challenge to them. First off, there is a new enemy type called the Armored Henchman, and you would not guess why they're called that. In combat, you have to cape stun them and beat the ever-loving shit out of them, but in Predator sections, they cannot be stealth takedown, meaning they have to be taken out loudly, so you have to save them for last, or risk it and take them out first. There will also sometimes be henchmen with disruptors that mess up your detective mode, making it unusable. And although the heartbeat sensor is gone, if you take out one henchman, the boss, whether it's the Joker Baby, Penguin, or Hugo, they will just alert on like the monitor and say like, oh yeah, Batman's in the room with you, so good luck with that. And that results with them being more alert and staying together, and you know, just like the last game. These additions and modifications were actually welcomed, and I actually found myself having to survey the room and plan out my tactics far more than the last game. As far as combat, like I said, it feels a lot more smooth and all in all, better. Of course, the armored enemies take more to take down, but if you have a special combo takedown, you can target them and take them out instantly. We also got the stun baton and blade enemies returning from the previous game, and the introduction of shield guards that have to be stunned and then evade toward them for a special shield takedown. We are also introduced to the League of Assassins in this game, who never stay down and are always back on their feet and have a way quicker moveset. It's cool to see more enemy types as well as returning ones to add more of a challenge while still keeping the feeling of the original game. I'll briefly go over some of the upgrades as they are so much better in my opinion. My personal favorite is the multi-ground takedown, which quickly incapacitates any man on the ground in one swift motion with your batarangs. Some other good ones are the blade dodge takedown, which requires you to perfectly time your blade dodges, a critical strikes that have you time out your strikes for more power, and a free flow focus which allows you to fly across the room when you have a high enough combo. There are a few upgrades that actually greatly help you in situations, unlike Asylum where Batman can sluggishly throw someone, and I will be amiss if I didn't mention the gliding just a tiny bit, as although it is mostly the same with an open map, it feels so much better. Even if you don't have the grapple boost yet, which greatly improves your gliding experience, it still feels to glide from one part of the map to the next, especially with the now more open area and a map that actually accommodates gliding, unlike the last game, which is gliding was kind of useless. There's also ability where if you dive bomb and let go, you gain more altitude and speed, so you can quite literally go from one edge of the map to the other without touching the ground. This game honestly feels so amazing to play, and it is always a joy to return to. This plot is kind of a juicy one, so strap in. So you play as Catwoman? I forgot to say, we are playing these games with DLC included, and Arkham City's DLC is featured in the main campaign, so yeah, we'll get to that later. So we start as Catwoman stealing from a safe, where we are then captured by Two-Face at gunpoint. We are then back as the Batman, but as Bruce Wayne, as he seems to be giving a speech about how Arkham City needs to be shut down. Suddenly, Tiger Guards rush the stage and take Bruce prisoner. All of this is shown through flashbacks while Hugo Strange is shocking and torturing us as he reveals that he knows that Bruce Wayne is actually Batman and name drops Protocol 10, a mysterious plan organized by Hugo. Once Hugo leaves the room, Bruce quickly escapes from the chair, but sets off an alarm and is taken outside where a bunch of other prisoners are gathered. A lot of them are political prisoners, but some of them are just regular criminals, some more recognizable than others. He heads into another area with Jack Ryder, the reporter of all people, as some men try to jump them, and someone is watching in the distance. I see you over there, you're not slick. Suddenly, the Penguin comes out and takes Bruce into an alley, but not before he breaks out of his cuffs and gives a light little smooch to the Penguin goodbye. Bruce calls Alfred to deliver his suit inside the Arkham City walls, and after a quick suit up, Batman heads over to the courthouse where Two-Face has Catwoman hostage. Batman shows up and saves Catwoman, despite Two-Face having two guns, bitch. Catwoman says she doesn't know what Protocol 10 is, but heard rumors that Hugo was working with the Joker baby. As the two converse, Batman notices a green dot sight and saves Catwoman from an assassination attempt. This one real, however, not like the one that Trump is. Batman figures out it came from the church, so he heads over there and he calmly moves Harley Quinn to the side. After you save some guards and see this mysterious guy, he goes up to the tower where the Joker baby rigged it to explode, but Batman luckily escapes. Batman then heads over to the steel mill where the Joker baby is hiding and discovers that he has passed away? Except he didn't, and he actually fell for the old fake Joker gag, as the Joker baby chloroforms Batman. When he wakes, he discovers that the Joker baby is actually still sick despite the healthy one we just saw. The Joker baby reveals that the Titan he took back at the asylum has poisoned him and is slowly killing him, and that he put his blood into Batman, causing Batman to be sick as well. The Joker baby also reveals that he sent his blood to hospitals all across Gotham, which Batman thinks is Protocol 10, but the Joker baby reveals that he
Never heard of it.
making him clear from Protocol 10. Batman thinks that Mr. Freeze is the only man who can help him make a cure, so he goes to the old Gotham Police Department where it turns out the Penguin has taken Mr. Freeze to the museum. So Batman heads over there, rescues Mr. Freeze, and takes out Penguin in the Iceberg Lounge, but not before a quick little fight with Solomon Grundy. After Penguin is taken down, Freeze reveals that the antidote will be too weak to sustain unless there is a rare chemical compound. Batman thinks that Ra's al Ghul could help since he has been exposed to the Lazarus Pit. Hearing this, a League of Assassins breaks free from the exhibit. Following her leads to a rooftop where she tries to kill Batman, but he counters and puts a tracker onto her. Suddenly, more show up, but Robin is there to save you. He says that he's worried about Batman, but Batman is Batman about it, and says he's fine. That's a very nice looking tower over there. If you know, you know. Anyways, Batman tracks her down to Wonder City where he discovers the League hiding there. Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, greets you where Batman tells her he's ready to take the test and replace Ra's al Ghul. After the test, Talia brings him to Ra's, where Batman reveals that it was a ruse just to get close to Ra's, causing a quick little battle. Batman defeats him and takes his blood, leaving Talia fucking pissed. Batman goes back to Freeze and gives him Ra's blood, where Freeze is able to make 2 cures. He puts one in a safe and destroys the other, telling Batman that he must find Nora first. After a really fucking awesome fight, Freeze yields and pleads with Batman to find Nora as the Joker baby took her. Batman goes and gets the cure but finds that it was taken by Harley during the fight. Batman heads back to the steel mill and finds that the Joker baby has taken the cure and is healed instantaneously? Wow, that works really fucking fast. Batman fights Joker where for some reason detective mode is glitched out because it only shows that the Joker baby has no bones. But whatever, that doesn't mean anything. But whatever. After a very tedious funhouse brawl, there is an explosion and Batman is stuck under some rubble. The Joker baby comes to kill Batman, but Talia comes and offers him the secret to eternal life, and they leave him stuck. We are then back as Catwoman again. I will say I skipped out on the previous Catwoman section because I forgot. So anyways, in that section we skipped, Catwoman goes to Poison Ivy for help to break into Hugo's vault, and Ivy agrees if she saves the plant. Okay, now back to the one we're at now. Catwoman breaks into the vault and squishes Ivy's plant and takes the treasure she was actually after. Catwoman sees Batman stuck under rubble and either decides to leave him and Arkham City or save him. She leaves, the city is in chaos from the Joker baby, and in the end, everything is fucked. I'm just kidding. She decides to leave the treasure and go help Batman. We're back as Batman as Catwoman helps you out as they watch Protocol 10 commence. Fire rains as Hugo's forces bomb the city. Batman wants to save Talia, but Alfred and Barbara force Batman to save the people first. Batman heads over to Wonder Tower, finds Hugo, and shuts down Protocol 10. Hugo is then stabbed as it is revealed that he's been working with Ra's al Ghul the entire time, as Ra's gave Hugo the idea that he would then take his place. Hugo, betrayed, activates Protocol 11, which blows up Wonder Tower, but not before Batman and Ra's jump out. Ra's stabs himself in an attempt to kill Batman and then is impaled on a fence. Batman then goes to the theater to save Talia from the Joker baby, who has her hostage. When he gets there, Talia breaks loose and stabs the Joker baby. Talia thinks it's all over, but Batman starts remembering some inconsistencies. The constant healthy and non-healthy Jokers, clues left in front of his face. That wasn't the Joker baby. But when he comes to that conclusion, it's too late. The real Joker baby shoots and kills Talia, as it's revealed that the fake Joker baby was Clayface all along. Clayface is then all like, oh, go see my movie October 23rd, 2026. But after Batman defeats him, Batman takes the cure, but the Joker baby surprise stabs him, causing Batman to drop the remainder of the cure, causing Joker to take his last laugh. Batman then carries Joker out, and all is seemingly done. But that's not really the end though, haha, lol, you really thought? Catwoman goes back to her apartment to find that Two-Face stole all of her stuff, so she confronts him at the museum. He says all of her stuff is gone and she has to go around collecting them. The end, yay. Whew, alright, well that was a lot. Minus the Catwoman stuff, This is a really good story. It had been a while since I booted this game up, and I forgot how great the campaign was. Minus the Catwoman stuff, every plot point, story beat, and story section bleeds into each other so perfectly. Minus the Catwoman stuff, there was really never a time I was going, so why am I doing this? Minus the Catwoman stuff, their story was not only amazing, but memorable for years to come. What's up? Oh, right, yeah. I keep mentioning the Catwoman stuff, so yeah, like, no, I will admit, her combat style is very different to Batman's and has her own set of gadgets, even if it's very limited. It's cool and all, but it's just randomly thrown into the campaign and very much screws with its pacing and flow. Like, Batman gets crushed in rubble and passes out. What's gonna happen next? Catwoman breaks into the vault. Like, can we not? Like, kind of focus on something else right now. When I originally bought this game all the way back in 2011, I got it used, which means I did not have access to the Catwoman sections as it was DLC. And if you know about anything about buying used games at GameStop, is that the DLC or downloaded codes will always be used or void. So my first playthrough for many years was actually just Batman, with me not playing the DLC until I rebought the Game of the Year edition on PC, which has it included. At first, it was cool to see what I missed out on, but upon all my replays, it really just doesn't fit. But what about the story itself? I think it quite possibly could be a better story than Asylum. Just slightly. Like I said, each plot point weaves into each other seamlessly and makes sense to the player why we have to go from the steel mill to the museum to the sewers and so on and so forth. The mystery of Protocol 10 was really nice, and how no one could tell what it was until it was too late. It really pushed the plot forward, even if it was just as simple as bomb the joint. Like, whoa there. Okay, Donald Trump. This part of the script was written on June 21st, 2025, and Trump literally just bombed Iraq like a dumb orc fuck he is. Anyways, taking clock narrative structure with Hugo counting down the hours until Protocol 10 commences is such a simple addition, but adds so much dread and importance to the plot. The only thing I would say was a little weak was the plot twist that Ra's al Ghul was behind everything. Upon replaying, I did actually notice Hugo dropping hints about a greater power and a master that made it make a little more sense, I guess, but it does feel a tad bit thrown together. I will also say that this game can be beaten in one sitting, which I did twice. I did it once in a stream back in 2018, which has since been delisted, and recently where me and Miller raced in a New Game Plus run to see who would win first. It was me, obviously, like I'm the better one. So yeah. In the first run, I managed to do it in like 5 hours and 40 minutes. And in the most recent run, I managed to do it in like 3 hours. So that's pretty cool. To be fair, Miller was literally 10 seconds behind me. So I would say we're a little even, but I am better than him in like every single way. However, he was a previous world record holder for Lego Incredibles. So take that, virginity. This story was phenomenal and teases a lot for the future of the series. Let's just hope that it can live up to that. Unlike the last game, this game actually has a lot of side content with several side missions, 12 to be exact. Some are more simple than others though. First off, the one and dones. There are like 3 that are just done as soon as they start. First is actually finding Freeze's wife, which takes literally like 5 seconds if you know where she's at. A nice little touch though is when you go back and tell Freeze, he will make an ice walkway from the police station to where you found her. There's stolen Freeze tech that is literally just down an elevator shaft in the steel mill. But by far, the best one and done is the Mad Hatter section, where you are drugged up by Mad Hatter and basically do this little combat challenge, but in a cool ass arena. I will say the first time I ever encountered this side mission was when my friend Dario came over when I was a kid, and I showed him this game on the PS3. So I let him play for a little bit, and he activated this side quest, and I was so salty and jealous because it looked so cool, and I didn't get to play it. He found it, and he got to play it. I really wanted to play the Mad Hatter section. Anyways, as I said before, there's an AR training that makes you do some gliding challenges in order to unlock the grapple boost, which is stupid, but whatever. Bane is in this game, but you don't fight him. He kind of just has you destroy Titan containers around the map, and then you trap him. So thanks for showing up, Bane. Zaz returns, where you have to answer his phone calls all around the map that ring randomly, and you have to ping his location, and it does get old fast. Deadshot is in this game, but he's white this time, where you track his victims and use your detective mode to track his bullets, which was cool, but the boss fight is so fucking stupid. The Hush side quest is one of the coolest in theory, but is honestly just super simple. You find bodies around the map and you track it down to a surgical room where it is revealed that Thomas Elliot changed his face to look like Bruce Wayne, and he escapes, teasing a continuation for the next game. The man that I pointed out that was watching you in the beginning of the game is actually watching you throughout the game. After encountering him 4 times, he reveals himself to be Azrael and drops a mysterious prophecy on you, teasing a continuation for the next game. And of course, the Riddler. So the Riddler is actually present in this game. Unlike the last game where he kind of just gets arrested over the phone when you complete all of his little things, in this game he actually has hostages, and they only get their locations revealed when you solve more and more of his challenges. How many challenges are there? Oh, well, you know, just like 440. 400 for Batman and 40 for Catwoman. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's a lot, and to be honest, there is no corner in this game where there isn't a Riddler trophy. When you glide in this game, you're gonna see some green specks. I think I was a little overdone in this game, but once you find all the trophies and solve all of his riddles and break all the balloons, teeth, cameras, and whatnot, all the hostages are revealed and you take them down, which feels so good after going through all of that. And of course, it still unlocks the concept art, the challenge maps, and character models, so you horny fucks can look at the ass of the Penguin. Oh, and there's also just random acts of violence around the map that happen randomly, where you have to save someone from getting beat up. After having basically no side content in the last game, it's cool to have more stuff to do in this game, especially with the more open world aspect to explore. It does make things more eventful in this game, although some feel more slapped together than most. Like, really, me talking to some guys I saved and getting a mind disruptor counts as a side mission? I just talked to some guys. It is a step in the right direction though, and I can't wait to see how they add in other games. Hey, remember when I said Arkham Asylum struggled with their boss fights? Yeah, well, Rocksteady took that personally and delivered some bangers after bangers. Like, holy fucking shit, did they listen. Each boss fight felt memorable in their own right, and one could be a contender for the best boss fight in gaming, and I'm not even joking. So, again, let's go down the line in order, and I'm using the Arkham wiki as a list, so if some reason if some of these don't feel like boss fights, it's because they're not really boss fights, but they included it in the list anyways, and it'll reflect on the ratings, alright? Mr. Hammer. Didn't really feel like a boss fight, but to be fair, there were only 2 guys that play like him, with the other being his brother. He has a special way of getting taken down, and it is pretty cool, but I wouldn't call it like a boss fight, but, you know, 4 out of 10. Titan Henchman. No, 2 out of 10. Mr. Sickle. Same as Mr. Hammer, but a smaller room. 4 out of 10, it's the same boss fight. The Penguin / Solomon Grundy. The Penguin just insists of waiting for him to reload and then jamming his gun, but Grundy? Holy shit, now that's the boss fight. There's 3 waves, each getting progressively harder and harder, with the point of using your explosive gel to explode the electrical things on the floor. Of course, you're supposed to use the quick fire gel, but you can do the regular way if you're slow. That's how I did it back in 2011. It does make the boss fight insanely harder though. But this boss fight really opened my eyes on how good a boss fight in the Arkham games could be. 8 out of 10 because we included Penguin. Ra's al Ghul, the most video game feeling boss fight, but like in a good way. It's almost silly how video game coded it is, but it's actually super fun, and it involves a timing section and a combat with a bunch of henchmen, which sounds boring but has cool inclusions that make it feel like different. Like having to counter like 20 guys at once and blocking 100 strikes from Ra's himself. It's fun, okay? It's fun when you play it. 7 out of 10. Mr. Freeze. When I tell you that this very well might be the best boss fight in gaming, or at least one of them, I mean it. So you cannot go physically head to head with Mr. Freeze, as he will demolish you. He will rape you. Like it's not funny. So you have to stealth attack Mr. Freeze. Well, what's so special about that? Well, after you use a move on him, he will learn and adapt, so you cannot use that specific move again. That's because Tony Stark is always learning. It makes the fight so much more difficult and having to figure out how to approach next. Crate takedown, ledge takedown, explosive gel, using your footsteps to guide him under a window and take down from above. It's all about using everything to take him down. Especially in New Game Plus, where you pretty much have to use every single stealth takedown option. 10 out of 10, this boss fight never gets old. Funhouse Brawl, the Joker Baby, Mr. Hammer, and Titan Henchman. Now, talking about things that do get old, this one. Again, I wouldn't really count this as a boss fight, but it does include a Joker, and you have to fight Mr. Hammer again and a Titan. In the end, it kind of just feels like you're playing a more difficult challenge map that you would unlock from the Riddler stuff. 5 out of 10. Clayface. This boss is super fun. He has similar attacks to Grundy in the sense that you have to dodge clay bullets instead of electric shockwaves, but you can either just throw freeze grenades at him or bait him into rolling at you so you can dodge. So he is then hits a corner that has a lot of TNT. It sounds stupid, but there's TNT there for some reason. The second wave includes him turning into smaller claymen and you slicing enough where he appears, and then you would have to throw a freeze grenade in his mouth. It is genuinely fun, more fun than I'm explaining it, and actually feels like a good boss fight to end the game, if you don't count the Catwoman section. 9 out of 10. Now let's go over all the boss fights you get in the side missions. First off, Zaz. You sneak behind him and you take him down. 2 out of 10 because to get to him is also very annoying. Mad Hatter. It is very much just a challenge map, but it's such a visual treat. 5 out of 10 just for the setting alone. Deadshot. Crate takedown. 1 out of 10. Riddler. Same as Zaz, but it's not as annoying to get to him. 4 out of 10 because it is satisfying after 2 games of trophies just to see Batman fucking like punch him. It does feel gratifying. Now let's look at the Catwoman bosses. Poison Ivy. It's the same as Arkham Asylum but smaller. 2 out of 10. Two-Face. It could be a very interesting stealth boss fight, but you literally could just lead the men away by doing a loud takedown of a henchman somewhere in the corner, and then beat the ever-living shit out of Two-Face, even in New Game Plus. 3 out of 10. So, as you can see, other than the DLC and side content bosses, the boss fights actually feel really solid. They not only feel fun, but genuinely feel unique from one another, despite being similar in concepts to the other boss fights sometimes. I'm glad Rocksteady was able to take something that, although worked for what it was in Asylum, needed work, and they did work on it very good. Each boss fight can be a contender for someone's favorite boss fight in this game, but let's be real, it's gonna be Mr. Freeze, isn't it? Like everyone loves the Mr. Freeze boss. Anyways, the boss fights were really improved upon and aged gloriously to this day. Well, the setting is for sure bigger than Asylum. For instance, instead of being a small island, we have a full quote-unquote city to explore. That being said, I do think Asylum had the better setting. Not to knock Arkham City down at all, I just think the tight corridors and Asylum Island led to a better atmosphere. I don't know why, but Asylum setting feels much more richer in character, whereas Arkham City, although cool and iconic, lacks that character a little. I mean, it's cool to look around at this old section of Gotham City that is literally falling apart and imagine what once was, but I just think that Asylum beats City in the production quality and atmosphere aspect. Exploration and traversal is a lot better in this game. For one, there is a reason to glide now. Gliding felt good in the previous game, but other than a couple of times where it's required, it's just kind of like another feature that's there, and you can only glide for like a grand total of like 10 seconds max. Gliding is almost integral in this game, from getting to one place to the next, and I like that. I think the art direction still holds up, and although I think Asylum is better, it does not mean City is bad at all. One thing I will say is that the city itself mostly feels the same until you get to like Joker's Funland. Other than that, it does feel very similar to each other, except for Amusement Mile, which is practically flooded and falling apart. But the entire left side of the map does feel a little too similar to tell apart sometimes. But now it's time for the teases of the next game. First off, in between the Amusement Mile and the Industrial District, there is a bridge with a structure on it, and on top of that structure is a mask that belongs to Scarecrow. It is also a riddle solution. Secondly, also between Amusement Mile and Industrial District, there's a boat. Going on the elevated hatch and opening your decryptor shows a hidden lock to hack. It is also the hardest to unlock in the game, I believe. Using the decryptor code City of Fear opens it to find a bunch of shipments to Dr. Crane with an almost dead guy. Thirdly, using the decryptor to listen to radio frequencies. If you go to specific frequencies, you can hear a voice saying numbers that coordinate a message, all of which seemingly teasing Scarecrow. And lastly, above the Industrial District is a large mass of orange smoke. Some could even say looks similar to the fear gas used in Arkham Asylum. So if you haven't guessed by now, all of these hints point to Scarecrow as the next villain, which, like, spoilers, he is. I remember at the time watching the Arkham City All Easter Eggs video on the Batman Arkham account and learning about all of these and being pumped for what was later to become Arkham Knight. It's really cool how Rocksteady seemingly have already planned out the next game, and with other teases like Hush and Azrael, it's looking to be a very packed sequel, so let us wait and see. The characters in this game, I have to admit, might be better than Asylum. Although I love the Asylum selection of villains, I think seeing some of the more iconic characters like Penguin and actually seeing Two-Face and of course Mr. Freeze in this universe is awesome. And with some semi-deeper cuts like Solomon Grundy and Hugo Strange that the average Batman fan might not know of. I say semi because if you've watched the animated series, they were featured there. This game, however, does break the animated voice actors reprising their roles, as Rocksteady seemingly decided to try to make their own version of the characters, which I'm personally fine with. We even have some gaming icons such as Troy Baker as Two-Face and Nolan North as Penguin. Yeah, I know, practically unrecognizable here, but solid work from both of them. We also have a recast with Harley, which, to be honest, I don't mind too much, but I remember even as a kid definitely hearing a difference. Now let's talk about Batman and Joker. First off, the Joker baby. His story in this is honestly amazing and one of the best Joker stories ever? The whole two Jokers twist when I first played was mind-blowing when I was a kid, and there were a lot of hints. I think Mark Hamill knocked it out of the park with this performance, and the choice to kill Joker in this game is honestly ballsy, but I applaud Rocksteady on that. I just hope that they don't revert that in any way. And of course, there's Batman, who, get this, has a character in this game. There's points in this game where we actually get character moments from him. Shocking, I know. Him struggling with the disease, him wanting to save Talia over literal Gotham, his one job. Batman has character in this game, which is more than Asylum ever did. I think I like this Batman over the last because there's moments where I can actually feel what he's thinking and can actually follow his character. I think the character selection in this game topped the previous game, but each character, minus one specific one, makes a comeback in some way, either as DLC or Easter egg within the next games. Speaking of DLC, I thought I'd briefly go over the direct sequel DLC in this game, as this game was the first in the series to introduce DLC actually. So we do get Harley Quinn's Revenge, which I bet you cannot guess what this DLC is about. Yes, Harley Quinn attempts to get revenge on Batman as she holds him responsible for Joker's death. This all takes place within the steel mill, which I think is a separate part because it's practically unrecognizable. And the outside portions only take place in the industrial district, so basically Batman goes in, gets captured, and you play as Robin trying to rescue him. It's fun but short, but Robin does have his own gadgets. It's a short and sweet and nice little story to hold you over. There's also other DLC like the Nightwing DLC and the Outfits DLC. The outfits are exactly what you think they are. Outfits. They can be used after beating the story or in challenge modes, but if you haven't beaten the story yet, you can enter a cheat code in the menu that lets you use the outfits on your first playthrough. The Nightwing DLC kinda sucks. Basically, you can play as Nightwing, but only in the Riddler challenges. Yeah, that's it. He has no voice lines whatsoever, but he does get his own gadgets, which makes you wonder why there's so much effort in a useless character that can only be used in a mode that not everyone plays in. I remember buying this, the outfits, and the Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC as a kid, and getting heavy buyer's remorse on the Nightwing pack, as back then, I didn't go anywhere near the challenge maps. I also didn't include the Catwoman DLC, as if acquired, it is literally shoved into the main campaign, which, again, awful way of including it, but it is the way it is. Arkham City dipped its toes in the DLC space, and as we will see, Rocksteady will go off with the DLC. But for now, it was a good little extra offering for those willing to fork out a few extra bucks. Well, I did not expect to say this much about this game, but after contracting carpal tunnel from typing so much, it's fair to say that I love this game. It is truly a game I hold dear to my heart, and it was eye-opening to see how much I loved and how much I actually hold Asylum higher in a similar regard. Like, if you told 10-year-old me that Asylum had a better setting, I would probably claw at you like the escaped lunatics. But even after replaying this game twice technically, because I had to start a new save and beat the game to unlock New Game Plus and then beat Miller by 10 seconds, I still find myself loving this gameplay, the story, and all of the characters. I'm gonna give this game a 9 out of 10. It is marked down a point for just some of the side content being a little lackluster, but it was a huge step for the series, and an important one at that. But man, with all of these teases for the sequel, it makes me so excited to play the next entry of the series. An origin story? Yeah, so between City and its sequel, Rocksteady decided it needed more time to develop, and also new lead writers. So Warner Brothers decided it can't just sit and wait for Rocksteady to whip up a new game, so they decided to do it themselves by reusing gameplay and some of the setting to make their own Arkham game. And it went, I mean it's there. The game's here. I mean, it's not terrible by any means, but like, there's a reason why it's not widely considered part of the team, if you will. It's definitely the black sheep of the family, or at least was. But how did I feel about it? Well, do you really want to know? I didn't like it, although I tried really hard. This is the game I played the least in the series, as I played it once when it came out, and then I never touched it again. And then I beat it like once in 2018 when I got the series on PC, and even then, I just wasn't gelling with it. But with so many fans calling it underrated and all the fan projects to come out since, I thought maybe my revisit would be fruitful and I will come out with a new perspective. So no, to be honest, it was a struggle to finish, and there were things I did not like, but there were also things that I did like. So let's stop wasting time and just jump into the origin of the Arkham series. The gameplay for me is mixed. On one hand, it's the exact same story as the previous game. On the other, I don't know, something just feels a little off. Like, in my opinion, the game felt a little funky, like it wasn't cut out of the same cloth as the other two games. Because it wasn't. Offness aside, it is pretty much the same experience with a few tweaks. For instance, Riddler isn't a thing yet, so instead of Riddler challenges, there's the Dark Knight challenges that are pretty similar. Combat, traversal, and stealth challenges that can lead to unlocks of certain gadgets, which I am not too much of a fan of. To be honest, I never used the Sonic Batarang, but locking it behind stealth challenges kinda feels like it's cheating, especially after the game-breaking bug attached to it. So with the Predator encounters, once you encounter them, they don't respawn. They are done forever. So if you didn't do the challenges on your first run, well, good fucking luck. So now you have to do it in New Game Plus or Nightmare Mode. It's a bug that angers many fans and still remains unpatched to this day. So thanks for that. If you somehow did do all the challenges, you unlock a Dark Knight suit. But after rank 6 of the Predator challenges require a very specific encounter that only happens 3 times in the game, I gave up because I missed it. Because it only happens 3 times in the game. Leveling up is a skill tree now, which I kinda absolutely hate. Instead of getting the things you actually need, you might need to now level up 50 things that you don't need in order to get the upgrade that you actually need. Also, traversing through the UI is abysmal. Was not a fan of that either. A cool addition though I actually liked was the crime scene recreations. So as the world's greatest detective, you will enter a crime scene, and this game introduces the crime scene recreation, which visualizes what happened. And it's a cool touch which makes you wonder where it was in the quote-unquote future games. Like, why the fuck did he not use this in Asylum and City? Like, I get this game came out after, but story-wise, it came before. There's a couple of things that make you go, so he had this in Origins but not in Asylum, which canonically comes out after this game. For example, grapple boost is in this game because, let's be real, an Arkham game without it would feel a little weird. The developers pretty much said don't worry about it, so I guess let's just ignore it and chalk it up for gameplay reasons, as in City he does say that the grapple boost was in, like, you know, beta mode or whatever the fuck it was, so he's not supposed to have it in this game, but traversal would be awful without it. There's also a couple of new enemy types like the martial artists, which sometimes take 2 counters and can't be taken out with a combat takedown. There's also mini titan enemies, which are just like a little extra to take down, and of course all the enemies we've seen in the past. This game also does feel a little buggy. Like, I experienced so many bugs in this game that either took me out a little bit, like camera glitches, or completely annoyed me, like this bouncing glide glitch that happens so often. Enemies would sometimes fly away or just teleport completely, which happened way too often. The game only crashed on me once, maybe twice, but I only remember the one time. Gameplay was a mixed bag overall. Like, sure, it was an Arkham style game, but it didn't have the sauce that the other games had. It very much felt like a recreation of it, which that's pretty much what it was. I don't know if it was subconscious because I knew it wasn't Rocksteady, and I'm no dick writer, trust me, but I felt like Warner Bros. Should have just made a separate universe Batman game instead of trying to shoehorn it into an already established one, especially when all the characters already don't feel the same, but that's for a different section of the video. The plot of the game is actually not that bad in the grand scheme of things. So on Christmas Eve, there is a breakout at Blackgate prison led by the mob boss Black Mask. Batman shows up and we quickly learn that Batman is not on the police's good side. After arriving too late to save Commissioner Loeb and watching a subsequent cameo from Calendar Man who looks equally as confused as to why he's in the game as well, Batman fights Killer Croc, who doesn't look like Killer Croc, and learns that Black Mask set up a bounty on Batman with 8 assassins after him. Deathstroke, Firefly, Copperhead, Deadshot, Electrocutioner, Shiva, Bane, and Croc, who he just took out, which now leaves 7 on the loose. Batman heads to the Penguin after thinking he has something to do with it, which he kind of just says, nah, and a fight with Deathstroke ensues, which Batman wins. Batman learns of a double murder which the police think Penguin is behind, but upon examining the crime scene, Batman comes to the conclusion that it wasn't Penguin, but someone named the Joker. Batman enters the GCPD to get a gadget from the evidence lockup where he runs into Gordon, who does not like him, and Barbara, who does like him. Batman finds out through the GCP database that Joker is using Black Mask to rob the Gotham Merchants Bank and heads there to find that Joker has pretended to be Black Mask while he kept him hostage and was actually the one behind the bounty. And he's also a clown. Joker takes Black Mask to the steel mill and Batman goes and saves him, but not before getting poisoned by Copperhead. He fights through the poison though and easily takes her out. She reveals that there's a meeting at the Royal Hotel, and Batman heads there and spies on the meeting where he witnesses Joker killing Electrocutioner. Firefly flies off, but Bane stays behind as Batman loots Electrocutioner's corpse. After going through the remnants of the hotel, which is now a Joker funhouse, he gets to the Joker. After a little face-off, Bane attacks and there's a brief fight on the roof. Bane escapes and tries to kill Joker, but Batman saves him and turns him into the GCPD. Batman attempts to find Bane, but comes to the chilling conclusion that Bane found out that he's Bruce Wayne? Before Batman can go back to the Batcave to save Alfred, he takes a detour and stops Firefly. Batman and Gordon butt heads, but Gordon starts to realize that Batman might not be too bad, but still doesn't gel with him. Batman returns to the Batcave to see it in ruins and finds Alfred as he dies. Until he doesn't, Bruce decides it's time to give up being Batman, but Alfred, after being against it the entire game, comes to the realization that the Batman is needed in Gotham. Why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. Batman Begin. Batman then goes to Blackgate where there is another breakout. Joker straps himself to a chair and tells that Batman must break his no-kill rule and kill Bane or Joker will kill himself. Batman ultimately kills Bane, which surprises Joker, and he flees. Gordon is angered by this, but Batman claims that he planned to resuscitate him the whole time, which surprises Gordon. After reviving Bane, Bane injects himself with a TN1 formula, which turns him into a gigantic monster. After taking him out, Batman comes to the conclusion that the formula caused a permanent side effect, which gave Bane memory loss, which erases the whole Bruce Wayne situation. Batman chases down the Joker to the chapel where Joker pleads with Batman to kill him, but Batman refuses the urge and leaves him to the police. Gordon begins to warm up to the Batman, and in the credits we see the beginnings of the reopening of Arkham Asylum by Quincy Sharp. Oh, and there's also a Suicide Squad post-credit scene that goes pretty much nowhere, as this doesn't seem to be the setup to the game we eventually got. So how was the story? It's fine. It's not as good as the 2 previous titles, but it was enough to keep me slightly engaged and kinda want to keep going. I know a lot of people don't like the Joker being the main antagonist again, but I don't mind it all too much. Would I much prefer it to be Black Mask throughout? Sure, maybe. And I think everything with the Joker was fine and wasn't too offensive, but I think for an origin story, focusing on a different villain would have served the story a little better. I did like how the police do not like Batman in this game, as it is early into Batman's career. Some don't even believe that he's real. I thought the premise was good, the 8 assassins all trying to kill Batman even though 2 of them were relegated to side missions. But what did I not like about it? Well, let's talk about the inconsistencies. So the whole Bane knows Batman's identity was just stupid, and how they explain it away with memory loss. Like, don't worry, Bane gets Doried. It's okay, he's not gonna know that Batman, he doesn't know in Asylum or City. I'll dive into this deeper, but none of the characters feel like early versions of themselves in the Arkham universe. First off, no one looks the same. And look, I understand that this is like 8 or so years before Arkham Asylum, but you're saying that Killer Croc? You're saying that Killer Croc goes from this to this? I mean, it's not much of a stretch once we get into the future games, but there isn't really a lot of correlation between the games to make me actually believe that this is the same Batman and Joker from Asylum and City. I also think that although the premise of the assassins going after Batman is interesting, it is ultimately wasted and just brushed off as soon as Joker enters the fray. And then it's just all about him. Like I said, 2 of the assassins are literally just side missions, and they disappear entirely after the introduction. So if you don't indulge in the side content and only worry about the main campaign, you're missing 25% of the assassins. But even the ones that make the cut for the main campaign, they only appear for about 5 minutes, except for Bane. Firefly, Deathstroke, Copperhead, Electrocutioner, and Killer Croc. What the fuck is wrong with me? And Killer Croc are all gone before they can really do anything. Everyone always talks about how the assassin story is awesome, but failed to mention that it serves absolutely no purpose in the actual game. Once Joker shows up, it's just a Joker versus Batman story. Which is fine, but don't bait and switch. Be upfront. You tease us with an original story, but then just swap it out halfway through. It really ruins the story and makes it almost forgettable compared to the instant classics the last 2 campaigns were. I also just feel like the story didn't flow together as well as the last 2, but that might just be nitpicking on my part. Like, Asylum was straightforward and City had a flow to it, but Origins just felt messy, like they were just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. The side content is here, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. So instead of just like simple side missions, there are most wanted side stories, each after a different villain. Some were obviously more detailed than others. Firstly, there's the Black Mask drug stashes, which are basically just Titan containers from City. Penguin arm caches, which require you to go and disrupt some containers. Those were mostly just filler. Deadshot was a lot like Cities, where you follow his victims until you track him into a Predator encounter, but this time, the encounter was actually cool with some thought behind it besides great. Bird required you to disrupt some riots until you track him down for a little combat encounter. Anarchy kind of felt like Zaz, but instead of waiting for phone calls, you kind of just go to his markers on the map that have you go across the map to stop a bomb. Shiva was kind of lame, where you just kind of go to a place, talk to her, and then have a combat encounter. It was just an excuse to reuse the assassin enemy type from City. Mad Hatter again steals the show. It felt much like the Scarecrow sections from Asylum, and although it was a one and done, it was still a visual treat and probably my favorite side mission. There are also case files, which are smaller crime scenes that you can go around and solve. They usually entail you going to the crime scene, recreating it, and then finding the person responsible that is pinged on your map. It's cool, but it is nice to see more of this cool feature. So before I said there's no Riddler, but that's because he's not Riddler yet. He's still Edward Nygma, and instead of trophies, it's data packs. Somehow that small change removed the charm and made it not fun. I don't know if that's just me though. I didn't end up doing all of the data packs, but I hit all of his towers and relays. Once you do complete all of his challenges though, he kind of just dips and is on the run, and his HQ does tease the Riddler trophy and traps that show up from the previous 2 games. It's like cute, but not worth it compared to the last 2 games. Like, at least in Asylum you hear him get his ass kicked over the phone, but once you do all the side missions, all the case files, Complete the story. Gordon will call you to apprehend escaped Blackgate prisoners around the map. It's nothing major, but just a little extra character moments for the two. Also, there are no Riddler challenge maps, but there are just regular challenge mode in the Batcave that kind of serve as the same thing, I guess. Look, the side content in this game is here and is honestly a step in the right direction. There is plenty to do besides the main campaign, and some were pretty good distractions, while others were kind of just a waste of time. I know this wasn't a Rocksteady game, but I do think they learned from this game when creating Night. So although obviously not being the same quality to the main campaign, which is pretty normal for every game when dealing with side content, I felt each were a fine addition in their own way. If there is one thing people remember for this game, it is for the boss fights, which there were plenty. But how did I feel about them? Well, let's go down one by one in order. Killer Croc, a good tutorial boss and pretty straightforward. Just kind of have to hit him. 7 out of 10. Electrocutioner, probably the hardest boss in the game, if not the entire series. The amount of tries it took me to beat this boss due to me dying was wild. Super creative, and I don't know how they'll be able to top this one in the future. I'm just kidding, he goes down in one hit. 5 out of 10 for the jokes. Deathstroke, probably the most memorable boss. Super fun, felt like what a close encounter boss fight should feel like in an Arkham game. I'm surprised they gave us a straightforward fight rather than like a Predator encounter or like, I don't know, a tank battle. But this is probably one of the best boss fights in the series. 9 out of 10. Copperhead. Creative. Almost felt like the Ra's al Ghul boss fight in a way. Super fun to see how easily she can be taken out once we get the poison worn off. 7 out of 10. Firefly. Low-key kind of annoying, but I think it was mainly me trying to get through it really fast. If I took my time, I don't think I would have hated it as much. It is unique to him and it was pretty cool. 6 out of 10. Venom Bane. Not the biggest fan, wasn't that creative, and bro missile locks onto you. Super annoying. 4 out of 10. TN1 Bane. Was scary at first until you realize it's just crate takedowns and hiding. 3 out of 10. The Joker. You beat the shit out of him when he begs you to kill him. I think he kinda has a kink. 4 out of 10 for story purposes. Now let's talk about the most wanted cases. Anarchy. Combat encounter, 2 out of 10. Shiva, combat encounter, 2 out of 10. Deadshot, a big step up from cities. A normal Predator encounter, but Deadshot can shoot you anywhere, so he's actually difficult at times, but not really. 5 out of 10. Black Mass, combat encounter, 2 out of 10. Bird, combat encounter, 2 out of 10. And let's talk about the Cold Hard DLC, Mr. Freeze. It was fine, but does not compare to City. It has 3 waves, but wave 3 is a simple below takedown. Second wave was just dropping ice on him, and wave 1 can kind of be tricky overloading the generators or whatever without being seen. But it really is hard to top City, as City is basically perfection. 6 out of 10. I'm gonna be real. I think the boss fights are fine. I do like how there is more variety in the villains than just Titan thugs and slightly stronger enemies. I think City overall might just slightly beat out Origins, but this game does have really good boss fights. Deathstroke for sure being one of the better ones, not just in this game, but in the overall series. So although a lot of these characters are kind of just wasted in this game, it's cool to see that their boss fights still kind of stick out, despite some being super basic. The setting I do want to talk about very briefly. So half of the map is a brand new setting in South Gotham, while North Gotham is a reskin of Arkham City. Except it's not exactly like Arkham City. Some buildings are just in the complete wrong place, which makes you question how is that even possible, but I digress. The setting is fine, and I enjoyed exploring more of Gotham. I did find it a tad too lifeless. Like, I know it's a blizzard and no one can be kind of just like out and about, but I don't know. Just seeing the city covered in ice and snow and the color grade being a tad dull just made it feel a little boring, but that just might be me in my personal opinion. I don't think the game always looked bad, just sometimes, if that makes sense. I just really didn't like the art direction in this game. There is now fast travel, which kind of makes sense, I guess. You have to hack the towers that Riddler hacked in order to fast travel. I did tend to use it a lot though. I also love the Batcave, as it is the actual Batcave. We see no version of the Batcave in City, and in Asylum we have an on-site Batcave that is located on the island for some reason. Even in future games, spoiler alert, we do get a separate Batcave even though we're in Gotham, so we don't see the real Batcave. So this game is the only time we see the real Batcave, and it looks really good. I love the design of it, and sad that we never see it again in the future. The setting is kind of mixed. Like, there's parts I liked, but parts I didn't. I like seeing the similarities between this and City to see how much it fell apart. I liked seeing Wonder Tower not as a military base, which was cool. I still like City more just solely based on the art direction, to be completely honest, but the setting is not terrible. The characters is something I have the most problem with. I cannot possibly see how these characters eventually become the characters from Asylum and City. I get the time jump, but these are not the same Batman or Joker or Bane or hell, even Barbara. I think they took too big of creative liberties when it came to designing these characters, and it just doesn't feel like the same universe. It feels like a different Batman game. Like, it feels more in line with the Gotham Knights game than it does an Arkham game. That being said, how are they in relation to the story? Not too bad. I really liked Roger Craig Smith's Batman. If he sounds familiar, he is Ezio from Assassin's Creed, and he's also Sonic. It's hard to try to be a younger Kevin Conroy, and in many cases, I don't see him as that. But his Batman did feel younger and more anger-driven and reckless. Him butting heads with Alfred throughout really hammers in that point. I think everyone did a good job with the roles. The only one I felt was a little off was the Joker. Now don't get me wrong, I love Troy Baker. I even got him to autograph a picture of the Joker at MegaCon one time. But I don't like his Joker. I felt that he was trying a little too hard in the role, whereas Mark Hamill is just natural with being a murderous clown for some reason. In the credits, when they tried to recreate the Joker singing from City, I kind of just cringed a little bit because I felt like they were trying way too hard. I don't know, his Joker just wasn't there. But to be fair, it is a better Joker than Jared Leto, which, I mean, that's kind of a low bar, but hell, I can shit into a microphone and still give a better Joker performance as the Joker compared to whatever the fuck Jared Leto was. So really, I think the only miss was the Joker, but other than that, the characters were pretty good. I think I like this Gordon more than the previous Gordon though, but that is a personal preference. Just like Arkham City, Origins comes with a post-story DLC in Cold Cold Heart featuring, clearly, Officer Bowles.
Officer Bowles.
Nah, I'm just kidding. It's Mr. Freeze, dumbass. Basically, the story follows Mr. Freeze crashing Bruce Wayne's party, celebrating Ferris Boyle. Freeze takes Boyle hostage, where Batman obviously goes to save him in a new heating suit. There, Batman discovers that Boyle betrayed Freeze, and Freeze is out for revenge, so you end up stopping both of them. That's a very short version of it, but to be honest, there was a lot of padding and back and forth throughout the story. I actually didn't mind this DLC and could dare say it was better than Harley Quinn's Revenge. There was a new enemy type in the Freeze Gun enemy, which really was easy to take down. The heat suit kind of just acts as electric gloves in the way you fight enemies and interact with items. And they introduced new gameplay features like the temperature batarang, which just required you to aim a few seconds longer. It's just little things to keep things fresh. The story was solid, but pretty standard. Freeze goes mad trying to save Nora. That's pretty basically much it. Foil being a twist villain changed absolutely nothing, as it literally happens in the very last scene. We did, however, get to see more of the Wayne Manor and go from the manor to the Batcave, which I thought was really cool. It was a cool addition to the game and I highly recommend checking it out. There's also this initiation kind of DLC thing, but it's not its own DLC like Cold Heart, and I honestly kind of just forgot to do it, so let's just forget that exists. Arkham Origins was a big swing that neither hit or missed. It kind of just exists. People often forget about it when talking about this series as a whole, and I don't blame them to an extent. It did feel like a chore beating this game, and I remember when I finished it, I was so relieved that I can stop. Of course, I pushed through all the side missions except the Riddler stuff, as it just didn't feel as fun as the other games. As fun as Riddler challenges could be, I suppose. The DLC was a pleasant surprise though. I had never played it up to this point, and it did not disappoint. Look, I'm gonna give Origins a 6 out of 10. Like, it's not terrible, but I could just not bring myself to actually say I liked it. It has the formula of a Arkham game, but not the DNA, if that makes sense. It just feels off. It feels fake. The story was good until it switches up on you. The gameplay is there, but feels weird. It tells you it's an Arkham game, but it doesn't feel like an Arkham game. I guess that's how people feel about the sequel trilogy, but fuck you, I still like them, despite their many flaws. Will I ever return to this game? I don't know. I kinda want to try the Reimagine mod that kinda updates the graphics, but maybe some other day. But for now, I am happy to uninstall this game and finally move on to...
Hey,
yeah. You okay there?
I don't know you steal.
Oh, no, this is just... I'm not stealing, I'm just... borrowing? No. Ow, what the fuck? Ow, stop! What the fuck is wrong? You're not even throwing batarangs at me, you're just throwing random shit!
I ran out of batarangs.
Dude, are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, we got one more game, which is technically a part of the series, but I don't want to waste too much time on this game. Let me just tell you, it sucks. Its existence makes you question everything you ever thought. It makes Suicide Squad look like Citizen Kane. The game was so bad that I'm just gonna be straight out. I did not finish this game. There was not enough strength or willpower for me to sit through this monstrosity any longer. But let's briefly go over Arkham Origins Blackgate. So the gameplay is the most notable change, as it's seen through a 2D viewpoint, which some elements being in 3D. Basically, you walk left or right, and Batman kind of just fills in the gaps. It looks really unique at first, but holy shit is this game bad. First off, the combat is awful. If you thought Origins had some slippery combat at times, this feels like you're jerking off in between two rocks. Your reach just sometimes won't hit. The counter is essentially 50-50 on if it wants to work or not. It is so frustrating at times that it just takes you out completely. The Predator sections are so bad in the 2D space. So you use detective vision to see where they can see, but that doesn't matter half the time. If they see you, it's pretty much game over. Speaking of the detective vision, you will have to use your detective vision view ability to scan certain things before you can even interact with them. Like walls that can be taken out with explosive gel have to be viewed with detective vision first, which adds way more time to a simple task. Like, why isn't it viewable in the regular detective vision in the first place? Also, sorry if the footage doesn't look the greatest. First off, it just looks like shit. Secondly, the game can only let me play in 720p or else the game would crash. Also, my mouse was always on screen, so I'm sorry about that. Let's talk about the gadgets. They are very limited. You have the classic Batarang, the projectile explosive gel, the Bat Claw, and the sequencer with a new hacking minigame, which was fine at first but gets annoying with the amount of things you have to hack. The game is basically a very stripped back version of Arkham Origins that feels like a mobile game, so the fact that there's a PC port just baffles me as it just doesn't play that well. I guess this game had a plot, so Batman stops Catwoman and she is sent to Blackgate prison. A few weeks later, there's a breakout at Blackgate and Gordon calls Batman for help. Once in, Catwoman agrees to help Batman as Black Mask, Penguin, and the Joker all broke free and have their own territories on the map. Catwoman also mentions hostages inside the maximum security area. After stopping the big three, Batman goes to the maximum security area to find no hostages but Bane. Catwoman reveals that she lied about the hostages and she was hired to retrieve Bane. Batman stops her and Rick Flags comes in to arrest Catwoman. It's then revealed that Amanda Waller was the one that hired Catwoman to retrieve Bane and let her go after her quote-unquote arrest. They also managed to pick up Deadshot and Bronze Tiger to recruit in the Suicide Squad, and Waller's copter flies away, but we see one of Batman's trackers on the chopper. Yeah, I kind of shortened it down from the many details because let's be real, who cares? Like, Solomon Grundy shows up. Why? I don't know. The story is pretty insequential and really adds nothing to the overall Arkham series. Hell, I don't even know if this is considered canon. I mean, I know Origins had a lot of inconsistencies, but this game kind of just throws canon out the window. Also, I don't know what's with Warner Bros. And trying to push the Suicide Squad game that did not really come to be. I mean, we got the Rocksteady one, but it's pretty obvious that there were a lot of changes along the way and is not the product that was teased from Origins and Blackgate. I also want to point out how bad the dialogue is. Like, I'm sorry, did they adapt a fucking Wattpad fanfiction? Why is the dialogue written like a 5th grader thinks sounds cool? It is so corny and not the good kind. It was like cringy corny. I will say I thought the cutscenes being the style of comic strips were a nice touch as Batman is a comic, fun fact. It's obviously they did it for budget reasons, but it makes sense in the context of this because of its source material, I guess. The story was weak and forgettable, and to be honest, I already forgot about it and I just recorded it. I kind of clumped these together as I don't have a lot to say about either. First off, there's no side content. There's some collectibles around the map you can destroy with your Batarang, but that's about it. There are boss fights, but again, I gave up on this game and only did like 2 of them, so I'll briefly go over them. Catwoman you push like twice. Grundy shows up literally out of buttfuck nowhere with no explanation and you're kind of supposed to electrocute him. Never did the game tell me this, and I had to figure that out on my own while being confused why the fire was not hurting him. You shock him like 3 times and he's knocked out. And there's also other boss fights like the big 3, but I can't imagine them having any sort of substance in a game like this. The setting is kind of disappointing. Not only does it have the same art design as Origins, which I was already not the biggest fan of, it's a cheap and stripped back version of Origins art design. It was never nice to look at, and the game is very, very ugly. There really isn't much to say about the setting other than that it was ugly and also strictly linear. You can kind of explore, but it really was just backtracking through corridors that you can either move left or right in. There was no substance in there and felt very lacking in the end. Bro, let's just get this over with. I'm done talking about this game. The characters are there, they exist. The only new addition was Catwoman, but it was the same reused model from City and still voiced by Grey Diesel. There really isn't anything to go over. No real arcs, no real story. They kind of just go through the motions, I guess. Look, the game sucks. Like, it was really bad. To be honest, after playing this, Origins didn't really seem that bad. Like, at least Origins tried. I have no clue what this was. So obviously, City and Asylum were made by Rocksteady. Origins was made by WB Games Montreal. But this game was delegated to another studio with Armature Studio. No flag to them, but like, I simply don't think they were up for the challenge. I'm gonna give this game a 2 out of 10. It sucks. It's a waste of time. It gets 2 points for the 2.5D look, but plays like shit anyways. But finally, after 2 origin setbacks or whatever the fuck, we can get to the game we've been actually building towards since Arkham City all the way back in 2011. Finally, the conclusion to the Arkham story with no other subsequent sequels. This is the game people have been waiting for. All the teases from City, the long wait minus Origins, which was a nice placeholder, but it was finally time to live up to the promises made in the previous title. I remember when this game came out, and it was exciting. Scarecrow was the main villain, as we all figured from the hidden Easter eggs in City, plus a brand new, originally created villain with no other ties to the Batman mythos, advertised as the end of the Arkham series. It had humongous shoes to fill. Well, did it? Well, let's dive into how it happened. Let's dive into how the Batman died. The gameplay, I think, is the best and strongest part of the game. We are back with Rocksteady, so it's the developers who spent years perfecting and adding to the same gameplay over the past few years, and I think they really nailed it with this one. It really made you feel, obviously it's the same combat and stealth as the previous games, but with some noteworthy additions. Firstly, what I noticed when I first played it back in 2015 is that you can beat the shit out of somebody on the floor. No longer do you have to wait for someone to get up, you can just pummel them into the ground. There are new enemies like Big Boys, which essentially replace the armored enemies, medics who can revive an electrical charge enemies, like I just mentioned before, and charging brutes who, get this, charge at you. Each adds something new to the combat and honestly makes the combat a little bit more challenging and making you strategize more as you would with the Predator encounters. Speaking of which, the Predator missions have a few additions themselves. It is mostly the same except the additions with the medics. But there's also the minigunners, which require you to basically save them for last as there is no stealth takedown for them. There are also undetectable men that can't be seen with detective mode. Bringing it back to combat real quick, there are also environmental takedowns, which is basically murder. Don't worry, they're still breathing. But hey, at least it makes the Batfleck skin more realistic. So much is added in this game that at first, it felt too much. Like, I remember when I first played this game pretty much a decade ago. Jesus Christ, that makes me feel so much younger. I remember I started beating a guy on the ground and audibly going, whoa. I will say I am playing this on PC, and I don't remember if you remember the PC launch, but it was not the best. They have obviously since fixed the game, and I've played it extensively on PC, but there are still remnants. This game was super buggy, more buggy than I initially remembered playing it on PC before. I don't know why, but this playthrough I just did for the footage had so many glitches for me that I can honestly make a compilation out of it. I'm just not going to because that requires effort, and I'm not doing that for this video. The controls are mostly the same, except for dropping, which changed from control to middle click, which bugged me at first, but I eventually got used to it. But if you're playing this on console, I don't know what button it is, so, you know, figure it out yourself, bitch. I do think that this game has the best gameplay of the series, as it really feels like it built upon the previous game, just like City did with Asylum, and I honestly think it is perfected in this one. It was great, it was smooth, it was fun. The upgrades kind of take from Origins, but it's more like open, like hexagon shape, but there's still like paths, and sometimes you have to like upgrade something else to get the thing you actually want. But overall, I think the upgrades are better in this game. Also, briefly touching on the elephant in the room, yes, the Batmobile stuff takes up so much of the game. I think half of the game is Batmobile stuff. Here's the thing, it is pretty fun. The tank mode is really easy to get behind. I just think there is a lot of tank battles to the point where it's just the same thing over and over again. There really isn't much difference to it, and not a lot of variety, but it is like fun sometimes, especially the first few times. I don't think I ever got too tired of it, but you know, if you don't like it, it's kind of a deal breaker. It's kind of a deal breaker. Alright, buckle your seatbelts, people. We're going over the plot. The plot is both really good and really baffling. So after watching the Joker Baby get cremated in glorious 4K quality, you start off as Officer Owens. This game really makes you feel like a police officer. After being asked to have a word with someone smoking in a booth, Owens and the entire diner gets gassed with Scarecrow's new fear toxin. After that, Scarecrow threatens to release it on the entirety of Gotham, causing a massive evacuation and turning Gotham City into a ghost town with only criminals staying behind. Gordon calls for Batman to help now. As Batman, you head over to the safe house and find Poison Ivy, who reveals that she is immune to the toxin. After taking her in, Batman heads to Ace Chemicals, where Barbara Gordon found traces from. Upon arriving though, he is confronted by a new masked villain, the Arkham Knight, and his new militia. Yay! The Arkham Knight sends his army and their unmanned tanks around the city, but Batman attempts to save what is left of some hostages and confronts Scarecrow. Turns out the diner was just a scare tactic to evacuate the city, allowing Scarecrow to manufacture the toxin at the factory. He also finds out that Scarecrow is planning on releasing a chemical explosion to cover the entire eastern seaboard. Sorry, this is a lot of words. When Batman reaches Scarecrow, it is revealed that he has Barbara taken and escapes, trapping Batman in the control room. Batman reduces the blast radius, but not before seeing a Joker Baby? How can we miss you? You just died. In a flashback, we see Gordon enter the abandoned movie studios turned Batcave, where Batman reveals that when the Joker Baby sent his blood out across Gotham, some slipped through the cracks and are being held there for testing, including Christina Bell, Albert King, Johnny Charisma, and Henry Adams, who doesn't actually seem to be affected by the Joker's Baby blood at all. It is also revealed that Batman is the last one infected with the Joker Baby's blood, even though he was cured, but you know, I guess that doesn't matter. Now, back to the present. Batman wakes up to find out the Joker Baby is just a hallucination and won't bother us at all for the rest of the game. Batman tells Gordon that Barbara has been taken, and not only that, has been working with Batman all this time, which enrages Gordon, who swears he'll find Scarecrow on his own. Good luck with that, old ass. After some chasing around, Batman finds out from Penguin, with the help of Nightwing, who actually has voice lines in this game, that Scarecrow and Arkham Knight have a meeting with Simon Stagg. So then Batman boards the airship and interrogates Stagg to find out that Scarecrow paid Stagg to create the Cloudburst, but Stagg tried to double cross him. Batman then confronts Scarecrow, but he escapes with the Cloudburst. Batman finds out that Barbara is in the safe house that Ivy was once at the beginning of the game and goes to rescue her. But it is too late. She is doused with the fear toxin and she kills herself at the sight of Batman. Batman hides the truth about Barbara's death from Robin, who has been dating her, I guess, so he can focus on the cure of the Joker Baby's disease. Shortly after, Henry Adams calls Batman from the movie studios to reveal that Harley Quinn has somehow broken in and freed all of the Joker variants. Batman arrives and with the help of Robin recaptures all of them. Throughout the movie studios, Batman has been getting visions of the Joker Baby torturing Jason Todd for no apparent reason at all, and is not completely spoiling a very important plot twist later. After taking down Harley, it is revealed that Henry killed all of the Joker variants and was the one who notified Harley in the first place, as he was always being affected by the Joker's Baby's blood, but hiding the symptoms somehow. He desires to be the best Joker, but upon realizing that Batman is the last one infected, Henry kills himself. Robin realizes that Batman is the last infected and tries to lock him in the last cell. Batman counters and locks Robin inside instead. There you also have the choice to tell Robin about Barbara's death, which is honestly kind of fucked to do it at that very moment in time, but you could do it if you want to. Batman breaks Ivy out of containment as she is the key to stopping Scarecrow, as she is immune to the toxins. Batman helps Ivy revive an old powerful plant inside of Gotham City, but Scarecrow and the Arkham Knight activate the Cloudburst, engulfing the entire city in fear. Batman goes inside the fear-infested city and destroys the Cloudburst due to the Arkham Knight's refusal to run from Batman due to some unbridled hatred and wanting to kill him for some reason. The Arkham Knight escapes, but Ivy uses the plants to suck up all of the fear toxin, killing her in the process. Batman finds out that Gordon has found Scarecrow but gets himself captured. Batman goes to save him, but upon getting to him is confronted by the Arkham Knight, who reveals himself to be Jason Todd. No way. Jason Todd is angry at Batman for quote-unquote abandoning him with the Joker baby and tries to kill him, but Batman stops him. Jason Todd also transformed from the Arkham Knight to the Red Hood for one boss fight before vanishing. Batman frees Gordon, and once they get to the top, it is revealed that Barbara was alive. Gordon shoots Batman, which flings him off the roof, which causes Scarecrow to drop Barbara off the roof, which Batman saves her. Apparently being part of the plan all along or something, I don't know. He takes her back to the GCPD, where Scarecrow sends the remaining militia forces to blow up the building, but Batman and Barbara via hacking stops them all, depleting all tanks. Scarecrow reveals that he has taken Gordon and Robin, who Barbara is furious to find out was locked up, and Scarecrow demands that Batman turns himself in and reveals his identity. Batman goes to the drop-off where he notices a strange symbol on the wall. Get a load of that. What the fuck is that all about? Batman takes off his utility belt and gets in the truck. After Batman has a quick hallucination of finally going over the edge and snapping the Joker baby's neck, we get a little recreation of Arkham Asylum's opening, where it is revealed that the asylum is where Scarecrow has taken us for nostalgia purposes, I guess. I don't know why he brought us here, to be honest with you. Scarecrow forces Gordon to unmask Batman to reveal to the world via broadcast that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Spoiler alert. Scarecrow injects Bruce with toxin, where we go through the Joker baby taking over Bruce's mind, like killing everyone and burning Gotham City down before Bruce or the Batman locks him up for good, taking over his own mind back. Bruce reveals that he is not afraid, which baffles Scarecrow because he's like, dude, I just like drugged you up. What the fuck are you doing? Then with the help of Red Hood, Bruce is freed and he injects the Scarecrow with his own toxin, stopping him for good. Scarecrow is then locked up where Batman decides that the city needs a new myth to watch over her now that the Batman is too human, essentially. Batman activates the Nightfall Protocol, which sees Batman destroying the bat symbol and heading to Wayne Manor, where everything explodes with a little cameo from Calendar Man. The world basically watches Batman die. Time then passes where it is revealed that Tim, aka Robin, is marrying Barbara, yay, and Gordon is mayor of Gotham City, yay, and ends with the family getting mugged, oh shit, in a very similar style to the Waynes all those years ago. However, a mysterious figure shows up on the roof. At first, the muggers ain't afraid since Batman's dead, so they're all like, get a load of this guy. But then the figure suddenly starts growing, but then lunges at them, similar to how Scarecrow saw the Batman. And that's how the game ends. Okay, so like, here's the thing. I liked it. I thought it was like a good enough ending to the trilogy, but something always felt off to me. I always chalked it up to like a time difference. You know, different console, different, you know. It's been like a couple years since the last game, you know, it happens. But something always made this game not feel like it was in the same vein as Asylum and City. And I literally just figured this out a couple of weeks ago from writing the script. They changed the lead writer, which in turn changed the vision. So Arkham Asylum and Arkham City were both led by Paul Dini, which is why both feel so interconnected and basically woven from the same cloth. This game, however, feels so thematically and tonally different that it bugged me for so many years. With that being said, did I like the story? Sure. but I feel like changing lead writer really hindered it. First off, I have come to despise the militia portion. I personally don't care about the Batmobile stuff, which I will get to in a second, but the whole thing with Batman versus the militia was just boring to me. Like, the idea of Batman versus Scarecrow made sense, and I love that aspect, but Scarecrow basically being backed by a whole militia force and the Arkham Knight, like, it just feels empty, especially when we already faced a militia-like force with Tiger and Hugo Strange in the previous title. The only difference was that this militia had tanks, which you can shoot with your Batmobile, which, yes, this game had a lot of Batmobile, and I really didn't mind it. Was it too much at times? Oh, for sure. I mean, there's whole side missions where you have to do like basically the same tank things like 20 times, and that's not including the required tank missions in the campaign. Do I not mind it as much as other people? Oh, for sure. There are people who swear up and down that the Batmobile is overused and ruins the game, and like, I'm on the fence about it, but everything with the militia was boring and sluggish. Even things with like Scarecrow felt off because it didn't feel like the same Scarecrow we faced off in Asylum, which is another thing I want to dive into. Some of the bigger roles in this game, other than a select few, are recasted. Batman Cash, Catwoman, Alfred, the Joker Baby, and some of the villains remain the original cast members from City, but Scarecrow, Gordon, Barbara, the big hitters, are all recast for the sake of bigger star power. For instance, Commissioner Gordon is voiced by Jonathan Banks. Yes, Mr. Jonathan Breaking Bad, Put Your Dick Away Walter, Kid Named Finger Banks is James Gordon. Barbara Gordon is actually voiced by Ashley Greene for you Twilight fans out there. I'm not saying the performances were bad, they were actually really fucking good, but like, it didn't really make sense to recast them. And even the characters that weren't recasted, every character has been redesigned. Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, Commissioner Gordon, Robin being bald for some reason, which I think was canon in City, but like, come on, why? Like, nothing about this game says it's a sequel to Arkham City. If anything, it feels like they don't want to even be connected in any way to Arkham City, other than a few mentions and Easter eggs, and I don't know why. Arkham City is seen as the best one in the series to so many people, so why are we like straying away from it? I will say some of the redesigns do make sense, like giving Poison Ivy some clothes even though it's just a shirt, but you know, at least it's a start. I understand that, and applaud them for not overly sexualizing their characters again, for the most part. But like Killer Croc? Why did he have to be redesigned? His old design was perfect. This was the same gripe I had with Origins. The redesigns make all of these characters feel like there is no connection with the previous game, and it makes no sense because this is still Rocksteady. Now that I know that the lead writer was different, it finally clicks in my head as to why this game feels so off, and it now makes me like the game even less somehow. Like, when I didn't know, it kind of just felt like a misstep. But now that I know, it seems somewhat intentional. Like, look, I still think that this game is so fun, and I return to it a lot, and the side content is amazing. But the story for me is lacking the personality from the previous two entries had. I saw someone say this recently, I don't know where, but I saw someone say this recently, and I wholeheartedly agree to it. Arkham Asylum and Arkham City felt like comic book games. They really embrace the comic book feel, but Knight doesn't have any of that. Arkham Knight is missing the sauce of its predecessors, but by no means does it make it bad, just lacking. Also, you cannot get the true ending of this game unless you 100% the game, including all side missions, including the Riddler stuff, which like I never cared for. Like, I get the gripe why people hate it that it's locked behind 100%, but I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. I will say that the way the game ends without the true ending is kind of abrupt, so I get how a trilogy ending like that without 100%ing does feel a little off. Like, Bruce just kills himself and the game ends. Like, okay. And the true ending is only like 30 extra seconds, which almost feels wrong not being the normal ending. Like, the way I play every single time I replay this game is before the last mission where Batman turns himself in, I do all the side missions, and then I do the last mission just so I can activate the Nightfall protocol right then and there. It just feels like the canon way of doing things. Like, you end the main campaign next to the bat symbol where you activate the Nightfall protocol. So you do all the side missions, and then you do the last missions, and when you're there, you just activate Nightfall protocol right then and there. It just feels right. But yeah, the story was good, just not as impactful as its predecessors, and I feel like it should have been. Seemingly how it's the end of the whole trilogy. The side content, like I said, is amazing, not including the DLC, which I will get into. So apart from the main campaign, there is literal hours worth of content to play through if you want that 100% and the true Nightfall protocol ending. Some are unique while some are just copy and paste time wasters, so let's go down the list. Line of Duty. You locate firefighters all around Gotham and rescue them from their captors. When you find the chief, you find out that he was working with Firefly, basically a bunch of combat challenges, but the mini twist was kind of an interesting spin, I guess. The Perfect Crime. You find bodies string up across Gotham, analyzing them for clues. You eventually find Professor Pig and a chilling and unique encounter. You fight his doll people who are very resilient, and then you take him in. Riddler's Revenge. Riddler kidnaps Catwoman and forces you to solve all of his challenge rooms for her life. Most of your time will be spent doing all 243 riddles and trophies, but it's worth it to punch the shit out of him. Occupy Gotham. There are a bunch of militia watchtowers around Gotham, and you go and destroy them with a mix of predator and combat encounters. Armed and Dangerous. Militia cars that drive around and need to be stopped. Campaign for Disarmament. There are explosives around Gotham and you have to use your Batmobile to upload a virus into it, but in doing so will start a tank encounter. Creature of the Night. Man-Bat appears and you discover the tragic backstory of Kirk Langstorm and how he turned himself into a bat on accident due to a side effect of his studies and killing his wife unbeknownst to him. You create a cure and administer the cure to him. Gotham on Fire. Firefly lights Gotham on fire. You stop him by chasing him with the Batmobile. Gunrunner. You and Nightwing stop all of Penguin's weapon stashes, which involves you following a van to a hideout and then doing a combat encounter. Just basically the one from the mission from the campaign over and over again. Heir to the Cowl. Azrael returns from Arkham City to say that the events of Arkham Knight is what he prophesized. Azrael claims that he must take on the Cowl after Batman. So, to prove himself, he does AR challenges that are just combat encounters where you can't get hit once. In the end, it's revealed that Azrael has been brainwashed by the Order of Saint Dumas, and you have the option to either free Azrael or have him try to kill Batman, which we all know how that'll go, and gets locked up. Two-Face Bandit. Two-Face is robbing some banks, so you stop him in a series of Predator encounters. A Friend in Need. Lucius Fox calms go quiet. Oh, also Lucius Fox is in this game. And you go to see what's up. And you find Hush, aka Thomas Elliot, pretending to be Bruce Wayne and try to steal all of his money. Batman reveals his identity to Thomas and takes him down in this one-off encounter. Own the Roads. The militia are camped out on the roads and you have to clear them out in a mix of combat encounters and semi-predator encounters. Lamb to the Slaughter. Jack Ryder stays behind for a story, gets captured and almost sacrificed by Deacon Blackfire. You stop him in this one-off encounter. Phew, alright, so there was a lot there. And a lot of it, to be honest, is copy and paste. But with that being said, you cannot say that this game has a lack of content. Are some way longer than they need to be? Oh, for sure. Like, there should not be 14 bombs, 21 watchtowers, and 20 militia checkpoints across the map, but there are. A lot of them do feel repetitive, especially the militia ones, but these side content does feel more beefed up from before. I will say, although City had fewer side missions, I do felt like they meant a little more somewhat. Like, some felt like they were building up to a potential sequel, and then the sequel comes and those side missions are thrown away in another side mission. Like the Azrael ones seemed decent enough as a continuation, but it was just a combat challenge with an insta-death rule. And the Saint Dumas brainwashing thing was cool, but it's kind of completely glossed over and there really isn't much of a payoff there from City. The Hush side plot was completely wasted for some one-off side mission which felt completely tacked on, to be honest with you. It's like the developers forgot that they teased this and realized they need to do a quick resolution, but it just feels like a slap on the face. Also, all of these side missions are in the vein of putting these villains away for good this time, which feels kinda whatever with Two-Face just being regulated to some bank robber. Like, look, I know that's what he was doing at the end of Arkham Asylum, but like, come on, he had more aura in Arkham City, kinda. I will say the DLC side missions were a lot better, but I will dive into further detail with them later in the DLC section. But for now, definitely the most side missions in the entire series, even if it was a lot of the same thing over and over again. Okay, so Arkham Asylum's boss fights exist. They're not bad, but they're not the best. City definitely fixes this aspect, and Origins has some good ones in there, but in my opinion a little overhyped. But how about this game, the final game of the series? How did they work on the boss fights? Would you believe me if I told you that I remember absolutely no boss fights in this game except the Deathstroke one? And it's not in a good way. Oh yeah, by the way, Deathstroke is in this game, so after Arkham Knight disappears, Deathstroke controls the militia, even though Scarecrow technically did. Whatever. And then when you finish all the militia side quests, you face him, well, kind of. Anyways, let's go over the quote-unquote boss fights. Again, these are all based on the Arkham wiki, so yeah, a lot of these are stretches. Starting with Arkham Knight's Attack Chopper. Yeah, shoot it with your tank. 1 out of 10. Albert King, a combat encounter which requires you to use dual team takedown to cause damage. 4 out of 10. Johnny Charisma. The Joker Baby sings a song and is the best boss fight in the game despite not actually being a boss fight. 4 out of 10. Cloudburst Tank. You shoot it with your tank and you drive away. 2 out of 10. Arkham Knight's Drill. It's the Bane boss fight from Origins, but in a car this time, and instead of takedowns, you just drive near some explosives or something. 3 out of 10. Arkham Knight / Red Hood. The only slightly challenging one, which really just requires you to grapple onto the gargoyle he sits on when he's not looking at you, mixed with a predator encounter for some enemies. 5 out of 10. The Joker. I don't know if this whole sequence counts as a boss fight, but creatively and visually was one of the best ones in the game. It reminded me most of how the Fear Toxin worked in Arkham Asylum. Also, you get to beat the shit out of the Joker. 7 out of 10. The side mission boss fights. Two-Face. A predator encounter again. 2 out of 10. Professor Pig. The dolls were low-key very creepy, and Pig throwing the knives at you and you being able to throw it back was kind of a cool touch. 6 out of 10. Firefly. You chase him with a car. 3 out of 10. Deathstroke's Tank. You literally can just shoot at him point blank and beat him in 5 seconds. Are you fucking kidding me? You also don't even get to fight him hand to hand. -1 due to knowing how much sauce we could have had after Arkham Origins. The Riddler. You fight the Riddler bots who can change gender whenever he wants. Republicans are scared of him. 4 out of 10 because punching him is really funny. Now let's go over the DLC boss fights. Nightwing. He's just a slightly stronger stun enemy. 2 out of 10. Black Mask. A combat encounter where he sometimes shoots at you, but you just have to dodge it. 3 out of 10. The Joker and Harley Quinn. A combat encounter where they're just regular enemies with health bars, and you just have to hit them. Just target them the entire time and you'll get it. 3 out of 10. Mad Hatter. Legit one of the best, and is not really a boss fight. It's just, again, a combat encounter set in a pop-up book, but the book goes over the history of the trilogy, and it just filled me up with so much joy and nostalgia. Except the Arkham Knights section, but yeah. The Mad Hatter always has the best visual sections. 7 out of 10. Killer Croc, same as Albert King, but Croc is fucking terrifying and actually makes you feel bad for him? Whoa. Character development, 5 out of 10. Yeah, so the boss fights in this game is pretty much non-existent. Most of them involving the fucking car. I mean, look, I get it. Driving the Batmobile is fucking badass. But Jesus Christ, we can pull back a little bit. It's honestly kind of sad how this game just lacks in the boss fights when this series has given some of the best and most fun boss fights in recent memory, and in gaming in general. I constantly think back to the Grundy boss fight, or the Clayface boss fight, or the Deathstroke boss fight, or hell, the Mr. Freeze boss fight. But the only boss fight I can remember in this game is Deathstroke, but it's for all the wrong reasons. I don't know how they can fumble the bag this much, but it is truly heartbreaking to see the potential this game had in the boss fight aspect. Look, I know I have my issues with this game, but the setting, it's kind of cool, guys. It's kind of fucking cool. First off, this game looks fucking phenomenal. You're telling me that this game came out in 2015 and the Gollum game came out in 2023? Jesus Christ, it's been 3 years since that game came out. The graphics hold up really fucking well and still looks better than some games releasing today. My favorite little detail is when you glide and your cape whips into shape and some of the water that was on your cape shakes off. Little things like that add so much when you hardly even notice it. And I will say that each island felt unique to its own, with, in my opinion, Founders Island being the most visually unique. This feels like Gotham City, from the airships to the streets. Driving around is fun as hell, especially with so many destructible environments and the ability to run over people. Well, actually, Batman doesn't actually run over anybody, he just shocks them. Shut the fuck up. I just hit them with the Batmobile going 130 miles an hour. They're fucking dead. That's right, Arkham Knight is directed by Zack Snyder. Prepare to see a complete misunderstanding of the character. The game also introduces seamless transition from room to room and inside to outside and outside to inside, you know. Previous game always needed a loading screen, but this game eliminates all the buffering and you can enter and exit a building in an instant. It is a complete and absolute game changer, and I'm glad AAA games in the following decade follow suit, like Starfield. Anyways, I'm gushing over the setting, but I do have one gripe with it. Say it with me now. The art direction. Look, I love the graphics and the realism, but this is not the same world as Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. While I thought Asylum had a better art design, Asylum and City shared a lot of the same visual art style. Night, again, tries to stray away from all that, and it doesn't feel all that connected. It's just another thing that disconnects it from the trilogy. Do the graphics hold up? Hell yeah, but it sacrifices its identity in the overall series, and is something that has bothered me ever since its release. I'm not saying that it should look bad to be part of the other games, but like, you could still keep the art design and the visual identity from the other games, just beef up the graphics. I don't know, this game just doesn't look like it's part of the Arkham trilogy. It just feels like a really good looking Batman game. The characters in this game I actually really like. Despite not feeling like the same characters as before and almost entirely new ones, I will say that everyone gets a moment to shine. Gordon feels the most realistic here and not cartoony as he was in Asylum and City. Even Barbara has some moments to flesh out her character. I will say that Batman here goes through the most in this game than he did in the entire series. We basically see Batman fighting against the Joker baby's control and figuring out what is reality and what isn't. We see that he truly cares for the Bat family when he believes that Barbara is dead. I think this might be the best Batman in the series. Even some longtime villains get some good moments, like Poison Ivy. When she says nature always wins in her final words, it always gives me goosebumps. Despite being able to see her blank player model under her skin when she disintegrates every single time, look, I still don't understand the redesigns, at least the major ones. It's not even like the same designs but upgraded for new gen, they're just completely different designs. Look, again, I'm glad that you gave Poison Ivy clothes, but bring back OG Killer Croc. Even though this Killer Croc is fucking terrifying and I do like the design, I just don't like how it got redesigned. I personally don't like how everything got redesigned, but I understand if others don't mind the redesigns or even like it more than the originals, but this is just my personal opinion. That's why you clicked on my video, so shut the fuck up. So you know how other than Arkham Asylum, each game had like one post-story DLC and maybe some costume packs or character packs? Well, Arkham Knight really said, stand aside. This game features so much fucking DLC on top of an already jam-packed game. So let's quickly go over each of them. The pre-order bonus. It's not really a pre-order bonus, as if you get the season pass, you get them anyways, but this features some costumes and Batmobiles, but most importantly, the Harley Quinn story pack. You play as Harley Quinn for the first time in the series. In this short story pack, which is set before the events of the game, sees you breaking out Poison Ivy. It is cool to see a completely different moveset for Harley and see how insane her POV truly is. The Red Hood story pack. You play as Red Hood, which should have been a slight indicator that Arkham Knight wasn't a completely original character. You find and kill Black Mask. A lot more violent as your batarangs are just guns and you can shoot everyone and they will die. It's a fine little short story pack. Now onto the regular DLCs. These are the DLCs that were readily available to buy either on their own or from the season pass. Some were basic as Batman skins like the Batman v Superman Batmobile or the Tumbler from the Dark Knight. Also included were skins such as Batfleck from Batman v Superman or Christian Bale from the Dark Knight. There are some extra challenge maps too if you hate yourself, but then there are the big hitters like Catwoman's Revenge. You play as Catwoman in the post-game DLC where she destroys the remainder of Riddler's robots and drains his bank account, stopping him for good. This was just kind of like a combat wave challenge with some stealth missions in the beginning, nothing really too special here. I wish we got more of Catwoman's thoughts post-story, because she doesn't really mention what happens in the story, so. GCPD Lockdown. You play as Nightwing in this post-game story to stop Penguin from breaking out at GCPD. It was fine, but this game looks weird in the daytime. A flip of the coin. You play as Robin in this post-game story as you stop Two-Face from doing something, I don't know. Wasn't that big of a fan of this one, but it wasn't too bad. I like how they actually reference Batman in some capacity rather than just a fleeting comment like in the other DLCs that we just mentioned. A Matter of Family. You play as Batgirl in this prequel from before Barbara was confined to a wheelchair. This was definitely a longer one and felt like its own mini story. Batgirl plays too similar to Batman, to be honest though. The Season of Infamy is probably my favorite DLC pack. Basically, it adds 4 new Most Wanted side missions to the main campaign and feels more fleshed out than any of the normal side missions. Basically the DLC mini-stories, but in the actual game. Shadow War. The League of Assassins return but are in an apparent civil war. You must choose to either give Ra's al Ghul the last of the Lazarus Pit or let him die. If you let Ra's die, it does give a nice conclusion and a nice little character moment between Ra's and Batman where he says he's proud that he will let him die. Beneath the Surface. You team up with Nightwing to investigate a fallen airship which was a prison that held Killer Croc. Why do I keep messing this up? While investigating, you discover that they ran tests on Croc and the other inmates. It does honestly humanize Croc a little bit and makes you feel a little sorry for him. But he still tries to eat you and he is terrifying with his new redesign. Wonderland. Probably my favorite based out of the 4, solely based on the boss fight. Mad Hatter kidnaps some police officers and you have to go find them all. This all leads to the boss fight I spoke of earlier, and it's a visual treat and a trip down memory lane. Definitely the most creative fight in the game. In From the Cold. Mr. Freeze returns with a new plan to save Nora. Freeze says that they have taken Nora and they will give her back if he kills Batman. Instead, you go and find Nora, who actually defrosts in this game, and we actually get to speak to her. She sees what Victor has become and begs him to stop. He does, and they decide to live the rest of their short life together. This one is probably the best DLC based on the story, and is honestly kind of fucking sad. But it does give a nice send-off to the greatest villain in the Arkham franchise, in my opinion. All of these DLCs offer something to the overall game, which is already full of content. So to get this much extra is honestly a blessing. To be honest, you cannot come across a game with this much content in modern day gaming. I will say that the Seasons of Infamy feels like cut content that they just needed more time for, just to tweak before adding, since Killer Croc is in the base game for like 5 seconds. It's a quick blink and you miss it cameo during Joker's takeover that you might not even know that that was him, that it was supposed to be Croc, due to the fucking redesign. As for the story packs, I do wish that all the post-game stories had more mentions of the campaign and the characters' thoughts about it. Other than the Robin one, it kind of just feels glossed over, and we never get to see their reactions to Batman and Bruce's apparent death. However, it is cool to see a large focus on the Bat family in a way, especially for the last game in the Arkham series. Arkham Knight had a lot of shoes to fill. Not only was this the final chapter in a trilogy, but seeds were already planted and needed proper follow-ups and conclusions. In the end, although I think this game is a genuinely good game, I do feel like it lacks in comparison of the previous two. Like I said, there is something I couldn't quite place as to why this entry fell off. The story just wasn't really a good follow-up, or even just consistent with the previous games, and it just visually looks like a game from a completely different series. There is so much good about this game, like the graphics and the sheer amount of content in the base game and the abundance of DLC. It's all great, but as an Arkham entry, I feel like it missed the mark. Hamill. I strictly remember noticing it when the Seasons of Anarchy DLC dropped for the first time. The Mad Hatter boss fight, where we go through all 3 games and all the different enemies. Asylum? Hell yeah, that's a blast from the past. City? Hell yeah, I remember how good that story was. And then Night. How the hell did we get here? Like, when you put them side by side like that, yeah, this game feels so different. But here's the thing, different can be good. I honestly wouldn't mind the character redesigns, the bump in quality, and the recast if it just matched the tone and vibe of the previous titles. It's like this game had something to prove by changing all of its DNA, but like, why did you need to do that in the first place? I honestly don't know what Paul Dini had planned for Arkham Knight, or whatever the fuck it was going to be called before Arkham Knight, because to be honest, I don't think he would use this poorly written Red Hood. But whatever it was, I'm pretty sure it was going to be fucking phenomenal. The return of Scarecrow, Hush, whatever the end of the world Azrael teased, yeah, they all get answered here in some shape or form, but it's obviously not the same. Some answers felt like a slap in the face for those who actually cared to remember. And again, I fucking hate the militia in this game. I think the military force taking over Gotham is just stupid. In City, it makes sense. Hugo has this portion of land sealed off by the actual mayor of Gotham, and this corrupt military force is what runs it. This militia just waits for Gotham to be evacuated, and now they just run the streets. And Arkham Knight being Jason Todd, I didn't not like it, I guess. I don't hate it as much as other people, but Arkham Knight just being the Red Hood but more military is not an original character. It's just a bait and switch, and the twist is interesting kinda, but is also very easily guessed, especially with the shoehorn flashbacks to introduce Jason Todd to the casual audience, and especially since he hasn't really been mentioned in the Arkham series. Honestly, if it was just Red Hood and not Arkham Knight, I think it would have been fine. And again, I don't mind the Batmobile stuff, but this game does have probably too much of it. Yes, the Batmobile is fun, but there are other things we can do in this game, so why is it so obsessed with it is beyond me. Story-wise, I would say that this is the weakest link in the trilogy. Like, it's the one I probably look back on the least whenever I think of the series. Like, I remember it. I don't think it's terrible. I can actually recite the plot back to you unlike Origins, which I already forgot. After doing a true marathon of the series, it really is the weakest. Not including Blackgate and Origins, obviously. Origins is fine but forgettable. Blackgate is a stain on society that we will never talk about again. I will probably say that Arkham Asylum had the best atmosphere and tone, Arkham City had the best story, and Arkham Knight had the best gameplay, with Arkham Origins having the greatest potential. And Blackgate had the fastest uninstall rate. Knight is not a bad game. It is fun, and over a decade later, I can return to it and not hate it, despite its flaws. I definitely had a lot more to say about this than I thought I would, but this game always bugged me in a way, and I just never was able to put a finger on it, but now I understand. I loved it, but I also didn't, and now I know why. It's not the finale we were supposed to get, and it does show. I'll give Arkham Knight a 7 out of 10. When I was younger, I'd probably have given it an 8, but as time goes on and I look back on it more and more, the story just bugs me even more. Look, I still do like this game, it's fun as hell, and I return to it a lot. It's not like it's a terrible game, but personally, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as good as the other games. But I would take it over probably Origins and definitely Blackgate. Arkham Knight is a fine addition and a good enough finale to the series, but I think the series deserves better than just good enough. And that was the Arkham series. There was no other Arkhamverse game that came out after Arkham Knight. That seemed to be kind of the end. And it kind of marked the legacy of anyways. The legacy of the series is very important, and the legacy of what the fuck is that? No. Yeah, okay, so this game is technically in the Arkhamverse, and I'm sure you heard about this game. Yeah, sure as hell didn't play it. I never intended to play this game. I played the beta with some friends, and yeah, sure, it wasn't good, but it was kind of fun because I had a group of friends to kind of make fun of it with. But again, I never intended on buying the full game and playing the story. Until it was $5 on Steam. Yes, this $70 full price game frequently goes on sale for just $3, and the $100 special deluxe edition goes on sale for $5. This game had a rocky launch, history, and subsequent death, but this game is technically part of the Arkhamverse, so it is technically part of the series. However, if I'm going to play this dumpster fire, I'm definitely not doing it alone. I got my fiance Jada to play a little bit before she quit because it was too bad. But I also got my two best friends Miller and Bryce to join me, who actually helped me beat the game. Altogether, we spent a whopping $15 for 3 copies of this game. Miller got it for free on Epic. For free! Anyways, let's dive into what happened to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Let's talk about the gameplay real quick. Well, if you look at the gameplay playing in front of you right now, you're probably thinking you're having a stroke. But no, that is actually the gameplay. So you might be wondering, what the fuck happened? How is this the same series as the other Arkham games? Well, it's a long story. But in short, the series that basically made you feel like the Batman, that makes you feel like you want to commit suicide in this loot shooter. I guess that's why they call it Suicide Squad. Basically, the gameplay loop is to go to marker on the map, shoot a bunch of enemies whilst defending or destroying target A, B, and or C, and collect loot. That is the entire fucking game. However, if you get the most points, which I don't even know how they're calculated half of the time, you become the host of the server, which means you get to pick the next mission, which is the same mission out of like 3 or 4 mission types. Let me tell you, my eyes were honestly strained after hours of playing this, and my mind literally felt numb. There was no feeling whatsoever while playing this game because I don't even know what was happening half of the time. All I saw were fucking numbers flying around the screen and I thought I was fucking losing it. There were so many times where I was so disassociated with what I was doing that I found myself shooting my own teammates because I honestly couldn't tell what was going on the screen and who was an enemy and who was my friends. I was just too out of it. There is co-op in this game, like I said, which saves the game somewhat, as you can all actively make fun of this game as it goes along, but it also means you have to squat up on the shitty game servers that take way too long to load. On our last session, it like barely worked. It was struggling. We had to launch the game without some people just to get it to work and then re-invite them afterwards. It made no sense, and there's like nothing like online that states what the problem was, so we were kind of lost. The sentence of requesting mission clearance forever scares me, but also what the fuck do you mean I need permission to play this shitty fucking game? Oh, also the Riddler's back. We didn't do that shit. What happens if you do all this bullshit? I don't fucking know. We didn't even try. So didn't do any of the side quests, by the way, because I don't even know what the side quests were. It's just the same missions over and over again. So, I don't know. The gameplay honestly pisses me the fuck off, and it just hurts even thinking about it. The story is honestly all over the place. You start in Arkham Asylum, which I guess is still in operation, where Harley Quinn, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot, who is now black and can say the word now, are taken by Amanda Waller and tasks them with killing the Justice League. Basically, all of the Justice League have been compromised except for Wonder Woman, and is under control of Brainiac, who has taken over Metropolis. Also, Batman is alive. They use the old Hall of Justice as an HQ, and Waller tells them to recruit the Penguin, Poison Ivy, but Reborn, even though that doesn't stop Harley Quinn from flirting with a fucking child, and Gizmo. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Wonder Woman is not controlled by Brainiac, but refuses to join the team, which, like, fair. How would these guys actually kill the Justice? So they kill the Justice League. Okay, well, there must be a logical explanation behind they're all able to kill the heroes since they've never been able to kill them before they shoot them. Well, how? Lex Luthor creates special bullets for them and weapons to help slow down Flash, pierce through Superman's skin, and use the color yellow against Green Lantern. Also, it isn't their Lex Luthor, as their Lex died, but they went to Earth 2 and got that Lex to work with them. And you can tell it's from Earth 2 because he has hair in this one. Okay. Wonder Woman also dies from Superman. Kal-El, no. After the suicide kill the Justice League, that's the title of the game, they get transported to Earth 2 to fight Brainiac in a really cool and very unique boss fight. It turns into the Flash and is a repeat of the Flash boss fight from earlier in the game. Dude. Brainiac is now dead and Metropolis is saved from the 4 dumb fucks, but is revealed that there are actually 12 other Earths that they have to go and kill their versions of the Brainiacs. So the story isn't done. Look, I tried to dumb this down as much as possible because honestly, the story is a wreck and I did not want to spend too much time on it. Firstly, let's go over some of the positives. There are some genuinely good jokes in here. The chemistry between the actual squad is actually pretty good, and there's some moments that actually make you go, damn, that was pretty funny. Also, there are some good parts of the story, like very select scenes, like when Wonder Woman uses the lasso of truth on Flash, and he says the only way to save the world is to kill them. It was a pretty cool scene. And I mean, yeah, that was pretty much it. The game is ass, and the story barely holds any weight. Firstly, the constant retcons of the Arkham series and to its own fucking story. So in Arkham Knight, Batman quote-unquote dies. It's never revealed if he actually dies or not. It's left up to interpolation, for better or for worse. This game straight up just says Bruce faked his death, and when Superman showed up, Batman just also came back and said, yep, I'm back. Lol. Such a slap in the face. And also, yes, Deadshot is black now, which in itself is not a problem. I don't have a problem with black people. But I'm just kidding. But apparently the original Deadshot from Arkham City and also I guess Arkham Origins is an imposter. He wasn't the real Deadshot. This is the real Deadshot. But I guess Batman didn't fucking know that because he seemed pretty adamant that he was the real Deadshot. But no, this is the real Deadshot because he can say it. And there's also the big retcon of its own story. So when this game first came out, this was the Justice League, and that was the Batman we played as for 3 games. But with the final season that came out when the game eventually died, it is actually stated that they weren't actually the Justice League, and they were just clones all along. And the real Justice League are just being held elsewhere. You don't fucking know. Diana's still fucking dead though, so that sucks. Yeah, kind of a cop-out because of the backlash that this game got for killing the Justice League and also the Batman that we played as. They kind of just said like, no, that's not real. There were no missions in the actual game that held any weight to the story. You would go to a point of interest, mindlessly shoot targets, and you'll get a cutscene every few missions or so. It's just busy work. Copy and paste bullshit. So yeah, fuck this game. And no, we didn't do all the seasons as we barely got through the initial campaign, or lack thereof. Side content? Didn't fucking do it. Very few that we did on accident is just copy and pasted shit from the story. Protect the payload Overwatch style. Destroy target A, B, or C. Defend target A, B, or C. Defend bus while it does whatever the fuck. I don't fucking know. Same missions over and over again, but this time no story relevance, even though the campaign didn't have any story relevance either. But just like the promise of more loot. Boss fights are something that the Arkham series, I think, struggled with at first and then knocked it out of the park later on and then kind of dropped the ball with the last game. But what about this game? You shoot the Justice League? It's all the same thing. You shoot the Justice League with a counterattack, which was your special anti-flash bullet or your anti-Superman bullet, and you shoot them while their shield is down or whatever the fuck. It's the same thing. It's quite literally the same thing over and over and over again, just slightly more chaotic each time. Flash. He runs around and stops to shoot lightning because is that his power? I don't know. I thought he just went fast. You shoot him when he stops. Just shoot you with lightning. 2 out of 10. Green Lantern. You shoot his helicopters and bombs or whatever the fuck he conjures up to lower his shield, and then you shoot him. 4 out of 10 because it was kind of cool. Batman. He uses fear gas on you, and using this fear state tries to get each individual member. Boomerang deals with Batman statues that sometimes transforms into the real Batman. Hey, I wonder where they got that from. King Shark deals with glide kicks, Deadshot deals with explosive gels, and Harley Quinn gets all 3, but with an Arkham Asylum nostalgia bait. That was kind of cool, but anyways, at the very end, you shoot a giant Batman. God fucking damn it. 5 out of 10. Superman. He throws everything at you. Literally. He starts throwing fucking tanks and shit. Where the fuck you find that, Superman? Shoot your anti-Superman kryptonite bullets at him to lower his defenses, and then shoot him regularly. He also explodes and farts. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't fucking know. 4 out of 10. Brainiac. It's the Flash boss fight again. Negative 10 out of 10 for absolute laziness. Yeah, the boss fights fucking suck, and obviously don't hold a candle to the boss fights for the previous game. Hell, I would much rather do the Deathstroke tank boss fight, and that boss fight fucking sucks. This game truly dropped the ball, especially with the Brainiac boss fight, which is a literal recycled boss fight from the literal same game. Like, did you guys run out of time or something? Did they really think we were that fucking brain dead where we're just like, oh, it's the first boss fight, but it's at the very end? I don't remember the Flash boss fight. How am I supposed to do this? Each boss fight is kind of just wash and repeat, but with a new coat of paint, and at the end, I was just tired of it. It's sad to say, but the setting is unfortunately very lacking. You would think exploring Rocksteady's take on Metropolis would be really exciting, but you'd be so fucking wrong somehow because yikes. It honestly just all feels the same. I couldn't tell you if there was a different area in the map, like the industrial district it was in Arkham City or not. It was just all the same, and it just looked bland. It felt so boring to traverse with your shitty ass traversal as well. Like seriously, going from point A to B felt like such a chore. I played as Deadshot because I really wanted to say the N-word. I played as Deadshot and my jetpack would just constantly run out of fuel so fast, and that was with the upgrades. I would have to land, wait for it to refuel, so then I can jetpack for like 5 seconds again, just to rinse and repeat. The map just felt boring, bland, and forgettable, which sucks because I feel like Metropolis could have been iconic under the right guide. I don't know how Rocksteady dropped the ball, especially with Arkham Knight being such a good setting, but yeah, this was just not it. The characters are also just a very mixed bag. You have some heavy hitters like the squad itself and some of the Justice League, but then you get some horrible or just bland ass characters. Like I said before, the squad's chemistry carry the game and often got some laughs out of me and the group. I also thought Wonder Woman and Flash were pretty good. Each giving moments to the story that actually added something and felt like they had weight. Everything else, garbage. Green Lantern, bland. Superman, bland, which is unfortunate because how are you gonna fumble Superman like that? I guess that ain't too hard. Batman? Bro, Batman just says evil things in this game. Like, he doesn't feel like the Batman we've played before, which I guess now is because he's a clone and he's under Brainiac's fucking brainwash or whatever the fuck. But I'm not taking that cop-out excuse. All Batman does in this game is like, I'm gonna beat you up. Okay. I also despise Amanda Waller. She is the most annoying and egregious character in the whole game. I guess that's the point, but holy fucking shit, all she does is bitch and whine. Like, lady, shut the fuck up. Every mission is just do this or I'll blow your heads up. Like, yes, we get it. That's the whole point of the Suicide Squad. But shut the fuck. When Wonder Woman was fucking dying in the hands of Superman, it will constantly come back to her and be like, guys, help me, or I'll blow your heads up. Like, shut the fuck. Also, Toyman jizzing in my ear was so fucking awful, and I wanted to bash his little fucking brain in. Whoops, I didn't write anything for the DLC section, so we're just going to be riffing on this one. So I think there's like 4 or 5 DLC in this game, all adding like a new mini campaign plus a new character. I wonder where they got that idea from. So I think the first one was Joker, the second one was Mrs. Freeze, the third one was Deadshot's daughter, and then the fourth one being Deathstroke. And then, so it might have just been 4, I don't know. Other than Deathstroke, I don't understand the choices of the other ones. Like, we got a new Joker, who is completely awful. He's somehow worse than the Origins Joker, which I already wasn't that much of a fan of. We got Mrs. Freeze, which I guess is supposed to like hammer the fact like, oh, it's different universes. So here's Mr. Freeze, but not Mr. Freeze. And then we got Deadshot's daughter. Like, we're gonna waste a slot for Deadshot's daughter. Like, I don't know, give me like Catwoman or something, or give me like a new Poison Ivy that's like, you know, a different universe Poison Ivy, and is not a child, so Harley Quinn's not a fucking pedophile when she flirts with her. I'm trying to think of like other characters they could have done Killer Croc. I mean, he could have been like a tank. I don't know how they would actually do that. It can't be the Arkhamverse Killer Croc. But if they did, they probably redesign him again for like the third time. I don't know, the DLC is kind of lacking, and I think by the end, I don't think there was any like actual cutscenes. I think it was all like comic book-ish stuff. I don't know. I know there's supposed to be like 12, but they only got to 4, and then the game died out because the game was just that bad. So Deathstroke was the last DLC. And again, I didn't play the DLC, but coming from Arkham Knight, that's kind of very disappointing, because Arkham Knight kind of set the fucking like new level of how much DLC can we put in the game and how can it be like good. Like, you don't see that kind of like DLC in a game nowadays. Like, Arkham Knight was on something else. Like, you could not see that nowadays. And I guess that comes true with Suicide Squad, which is literally a rock-steady game, same studio as Arkham Knight, and they still can't deliver like they just did with the previous fucking title. I don't know, DLC was kind of ass. And again, I didn't play it, so I can't really go over them. But yeah, new character each time. And then also there's a lot of microtransactions, which I don't know if you can call DLC. But there's a bunch of skins and they all look like shit. There's a battle pass which gives you absolute shit. Everything with the microtransactions is awful. There's some cool stuff in there, like original Arkham skins, or like the Killing Joke for the Joker. You know, so like there's some like I want to call them hidden gems, but like at least some that make you go like, oh, they kind of care. But yeah, a lot of microtransactions that kind of replace the concept of DLC. But yeah, after Arkham Knight, it's very disappointing to see how far they've fallen, especially in the terms of DLC, but in the entire game in general, I guess. It's honestly a shame what came of this game. Bars. The idea of a Suicide Squad isn't even that bad of an idea. It seems good on paper. A co-op game as the Suicide Squad. How do you fuck that up? Well, you make it live service, add a battle pass, and piss off your entire fan base by pissing on the legacy of your previous titles. This game is bad. Like, really bad. I couldn't even bring myself to play the other seasons, or even the side content for that matter. I'm giving this game a whopping 3 out of 10. The only saving grace is the tiny moments of fun here and there, and also making fun of this game with your friends. I will maybe edit our gameplay eventually, because I did record our entire thing, except for like the beginning. I don't know where that footage went. And if you guys want us to do the other seasons, we might. The big maybe, because we all uninstalled it. We are not touching this fucking game again. But for now, we have uninstalled this game, and I don't intend on ever touching it ever again. So bye bye Suicide Squad. Good riddance. Wow, that was a whopping 6 games that we all just played through. Well, I say we all played through, I played through, and now you're listening to my opinions on them that you're either agreeing with and like nodding like slowly, or you're already typing my address in the comment section below. So just like with the Assassin's Creed series and with that retrospective, I do have a friend that I kind of share, you know, this experience of, you know, the Arkham series with. Just like how Bryce was my Assassin's Creed expert that I brought in, I wanted to bring in Miller, as he and I have played through all of the Arkham games. So yeah, I thought I'd bring him in since we both have the Arkham series pretty fresh on our minds. And I don't know if our opinions will differ as much as me and Bryce had our different opinions with the Assassin's Creed series, especially since he liked the RPG games and I didn't. I like the earlier games and he also liked the earlier games, but you know, it was really the ending or like the later games that we disagreed on. I haven't recorded the section with me and Miller yet, so here's our opinions right now. Fair warning, I've been awake since 4 p.m. yesterday.
Oh. Why would you?
Oh
Why?
wow, it's been 24 hours. Hello.
Hey!
Just like with Assassin's Creed, I had Bryce, who was the Assassin's Creed expert, aka the only one of my friends that played an Assassin's Creed game. So now with Arkham series, I have my Arkham expert, which again is the only friend I have that has played the Arkham series. Bryce, quote unquote, has played them. I don't believe him. Brendan Miller, my Arkham Origins, Arkham. Sorry, I was reading
Arkham
the fucking.
Right.
I almost said
I played Arkham Origins, yes.
So the first one in the series is Arkham Asylum in 2009, I believe. Yeah. So how did you feel about Arkham Asylum before
I
I
think it's a great game. So I remember actually, this was like 2010 or like early 2011, because so I was young and me and my dad always be like, "Oh, let's go get games." So this was still when Blockbuster was around, so we're like, "Oh, we're just gonna rent it from a Blockbuster." Yes, it's dating me a little bit.
I didn't even know Blockbuster was still a thing in 2011, to be honest with you. Did you play them on the PS3 or the Xbox?
So I played them on both, but when I first played them, we had a PS3.
What kind of model did you have? Did you have the slim? Did you have the fat?
Dude, I don't remember.
When we first got the PS3, the first game I played was Assassin's Creed. But my dad went and got a bunch of demos, and one of the demos was Arkham Asylum, and that was actually my introduction to Batman in general. I knew he existed. I don't know what I didn't know who the Joker baby was or whatever the fuck was going on. I thought the game was a horror game, to be honest with you. Like 2011, I bought Asylum and City used, and I played Asylum for like up until the first Riddler encounter, like when he calls you.
Mhm.
Then I was like,
Oh yeah, he's like, "Don't cut yourself on the sharply observed portrait."
exactly. And then I was just like, I think that's enough. And then I went to City because I was really excited to play City. But yeah, Arkham Asylum I think is a really good starting point for the series.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's times where I think Asylum is my favorite Arkham game. It like goes back and forth between City and Asylum.
Yeah, there are some parts I think like can do that. I think City's overall still my favorite, but Asylum is great.
I really
Like,
like
I
the
love that game.
story. I like the story of Asylum because you can't go wrong with a prison breakout. It's just or Asylum breakout.
And being in the asylum too leads to a lot of like it's a lot of the Riddler stuff too, but it's like, oh okay, here's a nice little like nods to other rogues gallery that aren't like
Yeah,
like
like
prevalent in this game. Like you see Mr. Freeze like cameos, like in like the Frozen
yeah.
cell and the
See the like
you know what I'm
Two-Face
talking about.
cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Two-Face area, you got like a Penguin Iceberg Lounge thing on the wall. There's like Scarface, like the puppet guy. You know the puppet guy?
Clayface technically is in the game.
Clayface is there too. He's Jim Gordon. He goes ha 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 ha.
Like the only thing I would say Asylum could do better is probably the boss fights.
Yeah,
Um,
because I love. So I played them. I can pull them up, but I played when we. I played it last year at this point, like all the games. So I did a boss ranking of all the bosses, and all the bosses in this game are as follows: Bane, 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 Double Bane again, Poison Ivy, Double Bane again. Literal worst boss fight in gaming history.
yeah, because Bane honestly, like he's just a Titan henchman with a health bar.
Yeah, and like he does some other stuff. Like he'll take some parts of the wall and like throw it at you. Like
That's fair.
he's
Yeah.
unique enough. I did see something somewhere though that the game was developed with only Final Joker in mind. They added the rest of the bosses like really late into development, which makes sense if you think about it.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Like that's
I mean,
really my only complaint. The boss fights, they're not great. But
yeah,
Harley Quinn also, I'm not sure if you will have mentioned this at this point in the video yet, voiced by Arlene Sorkin, who voiced her in the original animated series from 1980.
I did mention that. I said some of the animated series voices came back.
Oh well, you know what? I didn't see the video yet because it's not out, so I didn't know.
I sent you a rough cut. I don't know why you didn't watch it. Or what rating would you give Arkham Asylum?
Like how? Like out of 10 or like a S
out of
or F or
out of 10?
Easy 9.5.
Oh wow.
9. I'll say 9. No, I'd like 9. The bosses really kind of like I wish they were a lot better, but overall, the rest of the game, the story, the atmosphere, everything about it, as a first attempt, too. If you got to think about that, it was a first attempt for this studio as a like for a Batman game of this kind of style. They pretty much nailed it, like first go. So what I did, I played through them chronologically instead of release order. So I started with Arkham Origins, right? And I played Blackgate, and then I went back to Asylum. Well, no, I think I actually went to it was the Matter family in Arkham Knight, and then I went back to Asylum. It's
Mm.
it's very weird. Don't do that. if you haven't played these games before, don't do that. Play them in release order. Because going from like Origins to Knight to Asylum is like, oh, I can't cancel out of grappling anymore. Oh, there's no dive bomb. There's no like this and that. It's like okay,
Yeah, so I
kind of
think
weird.
that's oh yeah, and I also gave it an 8 because the upgrades are really bad.
Oh yeah, they're not.
I think the first time
They're
I
still better
played
than
it.
Origins though. Better than
Oh,
Origins.
oh yeah, we don't know. We'll get to that. But
We'll get to that. I keep ruining the continuity. Damn it.
but yeah, no, the because like the upgrades will be like inverted takedown is an upgrade, but then it's like now you can throw people, and it's like I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
used the throw.
I might have used it once.
Yeah, like
in 15 years, I might have used it one time.
like it is so useless. And then the remote battering is also so useless in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's an upgrade because they don't utilize it. Like in Arkham City, which we'll get to, it's used for like puzzles and shit. In Arkham
Yeah, there's some
Asylum,
parts that are built around needing to use the remote battering, but
yeah. So in Arkham Asylum, it's just like you can move it around if you want. It's like awesome.
I think the only thing you really need it for is maybe some of the challenge maps, like the Predator challenge maps, but that's it. Like you don't need it for like trophies or anything. I could be wrong, but I don't think you do.
All right, and now we move into Batman Arkham City,
The best one.
2011. Very much the best one.
I'm gonna spoil it right now. 10 out of 10. It's my favorite one in the series. It has been for 15 years, and it will be probably until the end of time.
I gave it a 2 out of no.
It is like one of I'd go as far to say one of the best sequels like ever made. Right?
Oh yeah, no, it's
One
the
of.
it's the Empire Strikes Back of like video games. To be honest with you,
Yeah, it's just the way they kind of like expanded on everything that Asylum did and just like did it so much better. It just kind of like took all the gadgets and expanded upon them too. You get like all the quick fire stuff now because usually in Asylum you just had the quick fire, the batarang and the back claw, but now you get like the rec gun and the explosive gel and not line launcher because that's not how that works.
and like a lot of the complaints I had about Asylum, they actually fixed in City. So like the upgrades are actually like useful. Like a lot of the
Yep.
takedown upgrades are honestly essential for like later levels.
Special combo takedown, like where you throw the batarangs, like it kills any enemy that's on the ground. He does like a big backflip and throws all the batarangs. The bosses in this game, so good.
Oh yeah, that's another
They're
like
so good.
another complaint I had about Asylum that was fixed in City was the boss fights. And like yeah, there's some weird
They were
ones in
ruined
here.
again in Night, but that's not important.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Solomon,
Yeah,
okay, you go Solomon Grundy into Ra's al Ghul, into Mr. Freeze, into
technically the first boss fight, according to the Arkham Wiki, is Mr. Hammer.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
that you kind of just like you just kind of beat him up.
Beat Mr. Hammer.
But I mean the Solomon Grundy fight though. Amazing.
Oh, I did put Mr. Hammer and Mr. Sickle, yeah.
Same boss fight. But you know.
Well, yeah. No, not true. One has a hammer, one has a sickle.
Oh, that's why it's Mr. Hammer.
Yeah.
And
They're
Mr.
actually both
Not
called
Hammer.
Abramovich, though. Yeah, Mr. Freeze, arguably best boss in the game. Arguably best boss in the franchise.
That was the only boss fight I gave a 10 out of 10 because I was like, this is probably the best. Like, because I'm trying to think of like other video games that had like boss fights that I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
For context, I put all of them in a tier list. I guess I only put 3 bosses in S rank. Um, the other two we'll get to it eventually, but Mr. Freeze is one of them. So
Is the other one Deathstroke?
well, one of the other two is Deathstroke. Yes, from
From
Arkham Origins.
Arkham Knight. But like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Whoops.
Mr. Beast.
The Mr. Freeze boss fight. It's hard to top that.
You will bring me feastables. I put this cure in my safe, and the only way Batman can get to it is if he beats me.
Yeah, then there's the Funhouse Brawl, which
Which is fine. You beat up Joker, fake Joker, Jonkler, whatever you want to call him. I don't care.
Cloaker. No, that sounds like a slur.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the Clayface fight, you lost, and that gave me the advantage to win.
Look, I didn't think it would restart the whole game or the whole fight. Okay, look.
You got hungry, and you ate too much that you could chew.
I would have won if I wasn't bad at video games. Yes, I know, Brennan.
I rewatched the footage because I recorded it.
I recorded it also, and I don't know that I want to rewatch it.
I was gonna edit it, and then I rewatched the footage when I was editing the video, and I was like, oh, the audio is completely fucked. So you're lucky. So you're lucky I won't post it, but I did beat you by like 10 seconds. I rewatched the footage, and it was like was a nail biter. It was close. So I was
okay. So I'll say it here live for the BCL gaming audience. Brendan, middle name Lopez. I don't know if your middle name's on the internet. Brendan, middle name Lopez, did beat me in a Batman Arkham City race
on New Game Plus,
and I am ashamed. Also, we can't move on without mentioning Catwoman. And you know what?
I will
it doesn't change my rating, but one complaint. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I will say, like, she has I like the unique gameplay encounters, like the way she plays. I don't like how it interjects in the story.
Yeah, that's my complaint. In most available versions of the game now, unless you either get an original launch version of Batman Arkham City on the Xbox 360 or the PS3, or you uninstall the content on Steam, the game starts with Catwoman instead of Batman. That is my biggest complaint. It has been for years at this point. Like, you start the Batman game as Catwoman.
And now Arkham Origins, which I think is probably the only time where we'll probably disagree on a game.
I don't hate Origins. It's not my favorite. I think there are things that could have been done a lot better. But I don't hate it. Like, I think it's an overall decent experience. Not like one that if I had the choice, I would go obviously replay Asylum or City or Night first. But it's a good time. I liked it.
I don't like it. There are some things I do really like the Deathstroke boss fight is probably like the most like is what you would think a boss fight, like a hand-to-hand boss fight would be in an Arkham game.
Yeah.
That boss fight is so fucking good. All the other boss fights,
I really like Deadshots too. Like
Deadshots is pretty good.
Deadshots, like this is like a Predator encounter instead of like an actual like Deadshot looks one way, Deadshot looks the other way. Deadshot looks one way.
Where'd you go, Batman?
Okay, so I said that I had 3 in S tier earlier when I was talking about Mr. Freeze. The other 2 are from Arkham Origins. Deathstroke was one of them.
Electrocutioner.
The second one that I put in S tier, Electrocutioner.
You're supposed to just like punch him. What I did, because I didn't know, like I never got that far. I think when I originally played on PS3, I didn't really touch this game as a kid. Like I bought it.
Oh.
I think I got to Deathstroke. But then you would have fought Electrocutioner. I don't know.
Yeah, Deathstroke's after Electrocutioner.
And I completely forgot about it. So I was playing it, and I was like, oh shit, a boss fight. So I evaded and did like that. You know, you press spacebar to like jump over them.
Like the dodge roll, yeah.
Yeah. And that triggered the punch, and I was just like,
oh,
yeah. So I evaded over him, and then it did the thing. I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't even like get to like punch him.
I will say, I do like the Bane fights. Like, I like how they handled Bane in this game a lot.
I didn't like the Bane fights. Here's the thing. When I did the Bane boss fights, I don't know why, but that motherfucker was a guided missile.
Yeah, the Bane train. Yeah, you just gotta avoid the Bane train.
I tried. I was gonna say, like, once Joker's introduced, they kind of dropped the assassin aspect, and like again, and also like, yeah, Deadshot and Shiva are side missions, so then it's just like, so why even like talk about them? Because then like Bird, he's there, but he's not an
He's just a
assassin.
normal guy.
So he's not an assassin. So like, what's so special about Deadshot and Shiva? Like, why are they like? Why do they get like a little animation thing in the beginning, but then they're like, ah, you're just side mission, and the side missions,
Yeah,
like the Shiva side missions are awful. Yeah, no, but like once Joker gets involved, it kind of just becomes all about Joker, which like I love Joker, I love the
yeah.
Joker baby, but like I think the assassin aspect would have been more interesting than just another Batman versus Joker, because we did technically got
Yeah.
that for the last two games, and like once we finally got something that was interesting, they're like, ah, just kidding, it's Joker again.
That is my biggest complaint with this game, that the Joker is back. Because, like, again, I also like Joker. I think Mark Hamill as Joker is one of the best castings ever done, like, ever.
Perfection.
He doesn't need to be in this game. They should have done just Black Mask, like, as the main bad guy, instead of relegating Black Mask to a side quest where he doesn't even count. He's not even considered by the game as a boss. His side quest, he's just a normal guy. There's no health bar, there's no nothing. You beat him up in 2 seconds. That's what I did. And I'm like, what is this about? I
Yeah.
only put him on the boss ranking because he was at the end of a side quest and he was a boss.
So what would you give Arkham Origins? Like, what would you rate it?
Probably like no higher than a 7.
I gave it a 6.
Like, I think there are some good enough parts. Like, I think Cold Heart really brings it up.
Yeah.
Like, I really like because it's Mr. Freeze DLC, and I think the way they wrote it, I think it looks really good. Maybe not really good, but pretty good.
But now we get to go to the best game in the series. It's Origins Blackgate.
Yeah.
Can I get a hell yeah? Yeah.
No.
I did not finish this game.
Don't worry, I did.
What did I rank it? 2 out of 10. I did not fuck with this game like at all. Like for me there was like no redeeming qualities of this game.
I give it like a 3, I think. So it's a Metroidvania, so I like Metroidvanias, right? Like, they're good. I think when you do them right, they're good games. This is not a game done right. It's just very boring. The Batman, I mean, if you think about it, Batman Arkham, the franchise can be considered Metroidvania because you get like items to progress where you couldn't before. It's very loose, but it could be.
Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights is a Metroidvania game.
Yeah, yes, Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights could be considered Metroidvania. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about Batman. I feel like it doesn't really work in the 2D kind of side-scroller kind of gameplay. Like, it's okay, like, gameplay-wise. It's just really boring.
Yeah,
the game,
it is so
to get
fucking
100%, like, to get all the suit pieces, because I will say, I think collecting the suit pieces and like there's like little pieces of like lore and like what's the word? Like, there's like crime scene pieces, like evidence pieces you can find around. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I like that. That's the only cool thing about it in my mind. But to get all of the suit pieces, you have to beat the game 3 different times.
Nah.
Oh, wait. No, I get it. I get it, Brendan. You're saving the super secret surprise game, Batman Arkham City Lockdown, that was only on mobile, that I didn't play because it was only on mobile, and it's not available anymore.
I actually played that when it first came out on mobile.
I didn't.
It was kind of hard. There you are, you little fat bitch. Kind of confused. You could go. Yeah. We'll talk about Batman. Well, after you grabbed it.
Are you still talking to the cat?
Oh no, I was talking to Jay.
Oh. Like, why are you
No,
talking to the cat like it's going to respond to you?
no, the cat did not take my monster drink. Yeah, but Arkham Knight, when it first came out, in 2015, 10 years ago or 11 years ago,
Wow.
yeah, I remember when it first came out.
I
I
played it when it first came out. I got the midnight launch. I went to the midnight launch.
but there was always a part of me that the game felt weird, and it was like, and I could never place my finger on it. I was like, why does this game not feel like it? It seemingly is a good game. Like it's a fun game, but why is it not as good as Asylum and City? Um, and I think I've pinpointed uh the lead writer Paul Meany. What was it?
Paul Dini, yeah.
Paul Dini. Um,
Did not come back for the did not come back.
I only discovered that like a year ago.
Yeah, me too. I like pretty much. I think when I replayed the games like last year for this video that we're filming a year later. Whoops. I didn't find that out, and I'm like, wow, the story like from City to Night is really kind of just like bad. Like, I don't think it's bad, but it's like not good.
It's a fine Batman game, but it's not a good sequel to City. Because City was a good sequel to Asylum.
I would say in story alone, gameplay probably the best Batman's ever been.
Oh yeah, no, the gameplay is really fucking good.
Like it really does like make you want to go beat up a bunch of guys, you know, that killed your mom or whatever.
So what you're saying is that it makes you feel like the Batman?
Those words did not leave my mouth, Brennan.
I always hated the militia, and I never knew why. And I think it was because like we already saw kind of a militia with Tiger, but at least with
Tiger Guards, yeah.
At least with the Tiger Guards, it made sense because it's a sanctioned off piece of the city. This one's just kind of like, and now Scarecrow has a private army, and it's just like, why?
Yeah, and going back to the whole Arkham Knight thing real quick, it was like I didn't know when I was playing it the first time in 2015 because I'm a big stupid dumb stupid idiot who didn't know what media literacy was. But like playing it again, it's like, oh yeah, no, this is very obvious that like this is gonna be the reveal, and yeah, it was. It's like, okay, that's
yeah, I don't. So like the
it's
story,
awesome.
yeah, the story, like I could never like care for too much about it, especially like as a ending to the trilogy. Like I just couldn't. But like there is a shit ton of content from base, like just side content, and then also like DLC and all that.
The DLC adds so much in the way of like challenge maps, and there's even more DLC like side missions. There's the Arkham episodes, which we touched on earlier, like that have these different playable characters. There's a lot of stuff there. It's really a lot.
What would you rank, or what would you rate Arkham Knight?
Really, it's probably like a 7, and that's only because the story's not great. We've already talked about that, but like all the supplemental content like that comes with the DLC, right? Especially like a Matter Family, which is the Batgirl Robin DLC. I think that's really good. Probably like a 7.
Yeah, like if it carried the tonal, if it carried the tone and themes from the first two games, I think it would have been really good. It still would have been a really good game. But yeah, it feels off to me. Like it always felt off to me, and now I kind of got my answer, and I was like, yeah, that kind of explains absolutely everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was Arkham Knight, the last Arkham game ever in the Arkhamverse.
No more.
Nah, just kidding. We got Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, and that's technically in the Arkhamverse. Even though you can kind of pretend that it's not if you close your eyes.
If you close your eyes and uninstall the game, it's not there. This game retcons so much.
Oh, you know,
The biggest one being that Batman is no longer dead. He dies at the end of Arkham Knight, and then he just decides to, I don't want to be dead anymore. I want to be Batman. And then he's back in Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Why? I don't know.
I will say there were some moments that made me laugh.
Yeah, there were some good times. You know what? I will say that. A lot of them involved King Shark.
Yes.
I think it was really cool. But a lot of it is like...
I think King Shark and Captain Boomerang carried the game.
I think my favorite line, though, one of them anyways, is like, oh, why don't you just mail me the bullet? Like when they try to shoot the Flash, and beforehand he's like, "Oh, he's the Flash. Why don't you just post him the bullet?" You know.
I think my favorite moment is when, like, they made the gold kryptonite bullets, and we left the room, and then Bryce was just like,
"Oh yeah, no, that was good." There's like, "Oh yeah, we gotta get those."
And Bryce was like, "Hey, they just left the bullets," and then they actually
went back. It's like, oh,
I was like, "Oh, that was actually part of it."
Yeah, it's like they really. How'd they go so far downhill? I have no idea. But also, like, they kind of just even, like, get some of the DC lore wrong. Like, the one that I can really remember, because I don't really remember the rest of it, if I'm being real. So, like, when Green Lantern dies, because you kill Green Lantern, by the way, spoiler, kill the Justice League, you kill Green Lantern.
Actually, you kill a clone. Comics,
oh, well, yeah, okay, whatever. We're not even going to get into that yet. Give me a minute, I'll get into that. So... Like, normally when members of Lantern Corps die, the rings go back to Oa, like, right away. And then it's just like, oh, we're going to leave it here so King Shark can use it and summon his King Shark, you know? It's like, that's not how that works, but okay.
Yeah, like,
sure, why not? We haven't read a comic book, I guess. That's cool.
Yeah, no, like, because they retcon a lot of, like obviously they retconned the Arkham Knight ending, which, like,
oh yeah,
it's like because I know you were talking about it, and it was just like Bruce or Batman or Bruce dies at the end,
and that's
but
the
then
whole
there's
point of Arkham Knight,
yeah,
right?
the whole point is like it's left ambiguous, where like there's like this weird new nightmare bat. It's like, is it Bruce? Is it who is it? And then it's just like, oh, you know, it's Bruce. He's back. They retcon their own game because of the backlash that they got from the game. They're like, oh, we're killing. Well, first off, like, yeah, it's called Kill the Justice League, so we are killing the Justice League. Then they're like, actually, you're not killing the Justice League. You're killing their clones. The real Justice League is somewhere else. We don't know, and we'll never know.
And everyone else is alive except Wonder Woman. She's dead. She doesn't come back.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's
dead.
fucking dead. Like that wasn't a clone.
Nope.
That was, it's fucking ridiculous. Like I did not enjoy this game at all. And I know Bryce said he found some joy out of it, but I could not find any.
I mean, there was like some funny parts, like we talked about earlier, but like gameplay wise, no.
Yeah, no, it was just the same thing over and over again.
I will say I liked the first half of the Batman boss fight.
That's true.
The first half specifically.
So what would you rate this game?
What did I give Arkham Origins Blackgate?
I don't remember.
I think it was a 3. I'd give this game like 1.5. Seriously.
Oh wow. I gave this one a 3 out of 10 because I severely hate Blackgate. And
I'd much rather play Blackgate than this. I would.
I think I could stomach Suicide Squad because, to be fair, like, I've sat through the entirety of Suicide Squad and Marvel's Avengers, and they're the exact same game. I couldn't even stomach Blackgate for one playthrough. I think it should have died with Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
And like there was always like rumors about like a new one with like Damian Wayne and the Court of Owls and whatnot, or Batman Beyond.
That was Gotham Knights, right? Because that was Gotham Knights, and I never played that one. So.
So that one eventually became Gotham Knights, but there was rumors that there was going to be another Arkham game.
Yeah, and I heard about like the Batman Beyond one. That would have been cool, but you know.
But yeah, I mean, we do have the next Lego Batman game coming out.
We do, yeah, in like 5 days.
2 days if you pre-ordered the deluxe edition.
I haven't pre-ordered it yet at all, so
I pre-ordered it yesterday. Yeah.
Sorry.
Any last words? About
No,
Arkham?
not really. I mean, it's just I wish that Suicide Squad was better. That I'm gonna leave it with that. I wish Suicide Squad was better, and I needed a palate cleanser after it, and I still haven't gotten it. So I'm probably gonna play Arkham another one soon. I don't know.
All right. Say goodbye.
Goodbye, and everyone, make sure to like, comment, or what do you say? Like, subscribe, and possibly comment. Is that what you say?
Close enough.
Okay. You know what? I don't make his videos, so I don't know. Also,
Okay.
subscribe to my channel if you want.
Oh, the video ended.
BJ
That's
Mash Potato
crazy.
on YouTube.
No, you can plug your channel. Where can they find yourself?
I'm at BJ Mash Potato on YouTube. And that's pretty much it. I don't upload there much, but I do sometimes.
Former world record holder of Lego Incredibles.
Yeah, former Lego Incredibles world record holder.
You gotta put that in your YouTube bio. Just yeah, I'm a former world
should.
record holder. So, after 3 games that left a lasting legacy in the world of gaming, what the hell happened? How did we end up with this steaming pile of shit that constantly goes on sale for less than a Big Mac at McDonald's? And I checked. Well, I think there's a very clear answer. And it's Marvel's Avengers? Yep, the game you can't even buy anymore because it was so bad. You see, before the Suicide Squad even came out, there were a lot of talks of what the next game in the Arkham series might be, if there was going to be an Arkham series game. There were talks of a Batman Beyond game. There were talks of a game following Damian Wayne and the Court of Owls. There were some whispers even of a Superman game. But then Square Enix announced their newest title, Marvel's Avengers. It was going to be a game played either solo or co-op with 3 other friends, and was going to tell an original story but also be a live service game where new heroes would be added as well as short little stories along with them in the future. Sounds kind of familiar, huh? Yep, so WB Games scrapped whatever other Batman games and maybe that Superman game and basically copied that formula verbatim, but with the Suicide Squad. As someone who's played Marvel's Avengers, yeah, it is the exact same game with the exact same problems. But there was a huge issue. Marvel's Avengers tanked. So much so that it had to pull support and even get pulled from storefronts. You can't even buy the game anymore. I have 2 copies, but Suicide Squad was way too far in development. After delays upon delays upon delays, the game finally came out, and yeah, shocker, it failed. So now Rocksteady has forever tainted their own reputation and the legacy of the Arkham series, and for what? Money? Trying to chase Marvel's Avengers coattails, which they didn't even get off the ground. It's a shame because the Arkham series means so much to me and so much to so many people. I can still remember playing the Arkham Asylum demo over and over as a kid until I saved up enough money to get both Asylum and City. That was truly a magical time, and those games were truly magic to me, and even though Arkham Knight wasn't the ending I feel the series deserved, it's still a fun game in its own aspect. Even Origins has its moments, and I'm not that big of a fan of Origins. The Arkham series will forever live on as 2 near-perfect games, a pretty alright prequel, and a pretty good ending. And then that one. Will we ever see another game in the Arkhamverse? I don't know at this point. I think Suicide Squad truly tanked the series to the point of no return, and if there was any inkling of a return, I'd be curious to see if it even stays canon. The Arkham trilogy constantly goes on sale, and even Origins on Steam and other storefronts, and I highly recommend playing them at least once. Hell, I would even recommend the Return to Arkham remasters if you don't have any means of playing the original games on the PS3 or Xbox 360, or on PC, because the Return to Arkham is not on PC. They do lose a lot of the art direction of the original games, and I didn't cover them because the original versions of the games are still readily available. Also, there's no nostalgia spike yet for the original games for Asylum, City, or Origin, so you can easily get that on eBay or even in GameStop. I've seen GameStop carry these games sometimes. But if you for some reason cannot play it on PS3 or Xbox 360, then yeah, get the Return to Arkham remasters if you don't have any means of playing the originals. Like I said, art direction is kind of thrown out the window, but they play exactly the same, and you get the idea. Hell, if you have an Xbox, you can, I think, play backwards compatibility with the Xbox 360, so yeah, it's really, if you can't play it on PS3, and get the Return to Arkham on PS4, but yeah, yeah, it's still better than Suicide Squad though, so yeah. I am excited for LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, especially since it's seemingly borrowing a lot from the Arkham games. Will this open the doors for a true return to Arkham? Probably not, but if we never get to see another Arkhamverse game, I'm glad I got to be a part of it while it lasted.
Not a thing. I need to catch my breath.
You need a breather and like a break. Got like upgrades to upgrade or something. I don't know.
No. I'll find a way to stop you. Just
Look, I'm gonna be real. I don't think there's anything you can do to stop me. So I'm just gonna head out and. Huh. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We have completed another retrospective, and this one was kind of fun. Kind of daunting, but kind of fun. I know I didn't cover the 2 VR games, and to be honest, I might do a sequel retrospective, a 1.5 if you will, to cover the VR ones. Because I've played Arkham VR, and then I've played a little bit of Arkham Shadows. I just don't have the Quest 3 anymore. But since those are kind of like locked behind a specific hardware, I think it's alright to kind of not go over them and kind of just go over the main entries, despite Arkham Shadows being like really fucking good. So how did you feel about my opinions on the Arkham series? Did you agree with me, or do you want me to die in a dish? I would love to hear your opinions on the series as well. Leave a comment down below about your opinions and how you feel about my opinions. I would love to have a conversation with you about the Arkham series. I can go on and on about the Arkham series. It's a very autistic, very section of my mind. And again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. All the retrospective videos take a lot of fucking time to make. Surprisingly, when I set out to like make these videos, I never expected to be as daunting, and then I start recording it, and then that takes a couple of days because I don't want to sit on my computer and just talk a lot, and then editing it is more like, it's easy, but it's a lot of tediousness over and over again, so it's a lot harder than I would imagine before going into it. But if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and possibly comment. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.
Something's in my ass.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but the sun's coming up. The sun's coming up. It's 6:30 a.m. I've been editing all night. I was like, oh, I'll film this shit later. Then I realized the sun was coming up. So I had to rush, set up one singular light. One singular light. And record this. My fiance is sleeping upstairs. She doesn't know what I'm doing right now. So I think we should keep it that way. Also, I bought this. This costume, Batman Deluxe costume, is $50. 53 or 55 with tax. Free shipping though. And I bought it just for this video with the full extent of the full intent to return it immediately after. So I have to show up to a UPS store, hand them this Batman bag and be like, yeah, I gotta return this. Remus, how you doing, buddy? How's it going, bud? That's my hamster right there. That's Remus.
Also, I guess today is our friendship anniversary, 6-year friendship anniversary on Discord. I can send a GIF. What does that mean?
I think you sent me money.
It just says.
I was aiming for the black guy first, for no specific reason. That's it. Get spanked.
I'm the Joker, baby.